Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. Job Transfer for All. Only I can activate hidden attributes. Chapter 31. When we arrived at the East China Sea, our eyes were filled with the boundless ocean. Although Donghai Province is relatively remote and not very powerful, Donghai Province is one of the most dangerous forbidden areas in the world. It is said that the entire East China Sea is the largest ocean in the world, and some people say that there are even wild monsters in it that are comparable to gods. But this has little to do with the East China Sea province, because there are not very powerful monsters in the offshore area, and most of them are low-level resources. The truly powerful existences and various divine objects are located in the depths of the East China Sea, which is too far away from the East China Sea, at least more than 1,000,000 miles away. Only after 5 or even 6 revolutions can one be qualified to set foot in the depths of the East China Sea, known as the Forbidden Land of Death. Of course, Yu Cheng's destination this time is naturally only the offshore sea within 1,000,000 miles. Third transfer mission. Treasure of the ocean, submit the heart of the Kun whale. Difficulty: 7 stars. With his terrifying strength, this job transfer mission is still the most difficult 7 stars, and he is fully occupied. Even he felt a little headache, but it was not because his opponent was strong, but because it was difficult to find. Kun whale, the king of offshore waters, the undoubted absolute overlord. He doesn't have powerful attacks, nor much intelligence, and his offensive methods are not even as good as those of 10-level wild monsters. But he has a size that is simply unmatchable. The smallest ones are over 100 meters long, and some are even bigger than a small island. His defense is naturally very strong, and any attack is like scratching an itch in front of him. And his attack method is also very simple, which is to open his big mouth and eat, and the big fish eats the small fish. It seems very simple, but who can stop it when faced with a big mouth that is tens to hundreds of meters away? Therefore, in the East China Sea, the last thing professionals want to encounter is this thing. Any attack is useless. This huge reminder can't run away even if it flutters for 1,000 meters in the sea. And Yu Cheng's job transfer mission this time is to obtain the heart of this offshore king. If other people knew about it, they would have to go crazy. Killing the king of the offshore might not be possible for a rank 5 or even rank 6 boss, but it is a rank 3 task. Is this reasonable? But for him, the rare thing is not to kill, but to find. How could it be so easy to find such a powerful offshore king? Some people will never have the chance to see them in their lifetime. This is what gives Yu Cheng a headache. Forget it, don't think about it so much now, go and look for it again. I'm so lucky, maybe I'll bump into it all at once. Shaking his head, he took a step and walked on the sea. Yes, you read that right, he was walking on the sea, and it looked like he was walking on flat land. Dragon Palace's Blessing. Type. Special title. The mysterious blessing from the Dragon Palace. After wearing it, you can walk freely in the ocean like a sea tribe. Hidden Attribute 1. Water Creature Affinity +10. Hidden Attribute 2. Combat Effectiveness is not affected in waters. From the data point of view, this title of clearing the Poseidon Dragon Palace does not increase any combat effectiveness, but the benefits are indescribable. In the sea area, unless you are a special professional, you can only take a boat or use flying props. This is not the point. The key is that the combat effectiveness of professionals in the sea area will be greatly weakened, so ordinary professionals are not willing to come to the sea area. With the blessing of 2 hidden attributes and titles, there is really not much difference between the East China Sea and the land for Yu Cheng. With his extremely fast agility, he soon reached the East China Sea, which was dozens of miles away. There are 2 or 3 wild monsters here from time to time, but perhaps because of their affinity, they did not take action against him. In addition, he also met several professionals who came to take risks. They nodded to each other as a greeting. Hey, bro, wait a minute. At this moment, 2 blonde boys, a man and a woman, suddenly appeared not far away. Li Yunxiao. Occupation. Mad Lion Warrior, second turn. Level 38. Combat Power. 27 stars. Lu Yuxian. Occupation. Frost Mage, second turn. Level 34. Combat Power. 23 stars. Seeing the fighting power of the two, Yu Cheng was a little surprised. It seems that he has just awakened, but he is already over level 30, and his combat power far exceeds that of ordinary professionals. Such talent is top-notch even in the entire Donghai province. But two of them suddenly appeared in this offshore area, which made people curious. Friend, I'm Li Yunxiao of Dongxing Group. This is Lu Yuxian of the Lu family of Donghai. How about we join forces together? The blonde boy had a friendly smile on his face, as if he was very familiar with Ji Yu Chengge. Do we know each other? Although we don't know each other, we came together for the assessment, so we have to take care of each other. What test? Ji Yu Chengge felt that they must have recognized the wrong person. Didn't you participate in the examination of the seminaries? Lu Yuxian looked surprised, and her purple eyes were particularly charming. No, you got the wrong person. Ji Yu Chengge shook his head and had some guesses in his mind. It seems that the teachers from the seminaries are already here, perhaps conducting an assessment. This is not surprising. Every year, the seminaries send teachers to the world to recruit geniuses. Of course, most people don't have this qualification, and he knew it was Mo Shuping who said it. Sorry to bother you. Li Yunxiao smiled politely and was not angry because of it. When Ji Yu Chengge spoke, the two looked at each other with surprise in their eyes. The same goes for you. Yes, there is a very dangerous feeling. It seems that he is also a top genius, but I don't know which family he belongs to. Whatever, since it's not here for assessment, it has nothing to do with us. We'd better go over there quickly. There are more monsters there. Teacher Su is watching over all of us. Whether we can enter the seminary depends on our performance. Hey, that's a seminary of gods. I don't think there's much hope. Stop talking, let's hurry up and refuel. Boom. A burst of thunder suddenly sounded on the calm sea, and the sea became restless, as if there was some huge force stirring secretly. The huge waves were like rags torn by the strong wind, and like the roar of angry beasts, colliding with each other and making a deafening roar. They are like moving mountains, rushing towards people with thunderous momentum. At this moment, the whole world seems to be submerged by the roar of the waves. Look, what is that? On the sea, a dozen imposing young men were all floating on the sea, most of them using flying props. Li Yunxiao and Lu Yuxian stood in the crowd, looking at the terrifying scene in front of them, with a trace of fear in their eyes. After clearing the monsters, they gathered together with everyone involved in this assessment, preparing to receive Teacher Su's notice. But the scene that happened before them stunned them. Look, it's a killer whale shark. And the 8-clawed octopus monster. No, there are so many sea monsters. What's going on? Soon, they discovered something was wrong. They saw that the terrifying waves, which were 100 meters high, were filled with dense monsters. At a glance, there are at least tens of thousands of them, many of which are level 100 or above. What's going on? Let's run. We'll die. Even though they were all the top geniuses in Donghai province, seeing this scene, they were still so frightened that their faces turned pale and they couldn't help but tremble. After all, they are just a group of children who have just awakened. Although everyone has outstanding talents and a great background, they have never experienced such a thing. Then, several people turned around and tried to escape. Why? At this time, a sigh suddenly sounded. Teacher Su. A woman wearing a lavender dress and a perfect figure appeared. She has a slim waist and long legs, without a trace of fat on her body. Her flawless face has a beautiful face, but her expression is a little cold. Don't worry, this is just a tide of beasts. The woman said lightly, a hint of disappointment flashing through her heart, but not much. After all, she never thought that Donghai province could produce any genius from the beginning. What? Beast tide? There was a hint of uneasiness on the faces of many geniuses. They had naturally heard of the beast tide, and could understand it as wild monsters going crazy and monsters attacking the city. But this was their first time seeing a tide of beasts on the ocean. It looked so terrifying that they had no courage to resist. Okay, come with me, you are all unqualified. The cold woman said lightly, and at this moment, a wave swept over thousands of sea monsters and rushed over. Teacher Su. The others' expressions changed drastically and they hurriedly hid behind the woman, but she didn't even look back, and a layer of red light instantly enveloped everyone. The waves were blocked directly, and all the sea monsters exploded directly after touching the red light, dripping with blood and dyeing the seawater red. Several people swallowed and looked at Teacher Su with admiration in their eyes, but at this time Li Yunxiao gritted his teeth and asked, Teacher Su, I want to know why we all failed. We can't resist this kind of beast tide at all. I think our choice is right. The woman lowered her head, her expression unchanged. You're right, you really can't resist this tide of beasts. Many boys and girls looked happy. Do they still have a chance? However, this does not mean that we do not even have the courage to resist. You know I'm here. If I encounter danger, I will definitely take action. But even so, you don't even have the courage to take action. If you encounter monsters from another world attacking the city, encountering demon invasion, and facing the life and death of the human race, you will probably be scared to tears. Although your talents are average, it is not the key to being eliminated. The seminaries want brave men, not cowards. The woman spoke without mercy, and these boys and girls couldn't help but lower their heads. Teacher Su is right, they don't even have the thought of resisting, how can they be so cowardly? Okay, let's go back. After the woman finished speaking, everyone was dejected and ready to leave. Look, there's someone. At this time, a girl suddenly looked directly in front of the 100-meter wave, and everyone else followed her gaze. It's him. After seeing that person, Li Yunxiao and Lu Yuxian turned to look at each other, their eyes full of surprise. They saw Ji Yu Changge, whom they had just met, walking towards the 100-meter high waves without any fear at all. Who is he? What is he doing? It looks like he has just awakened. Is he crazy? Those are tens of thousands of sea monsters. Is he going to die? Several people couldn't help but look at the woman. Teacher Su, he didn't go there on purpose just to attract your attention. Is this courage? Then this is too brave. The woman suddenly spoke, this is not courage, this is stupidity. Others didn't notice it, but she, who was already at level 7, had naturally discovered that Ji Yu Changge was level 50. In terms of talent, it seems to be stronger than these top geniuses in Donghai province. But what about level 50? Facing the beast tide, there is only one way to die. He did not participate in this assessment and would not help, so this behavior is not brave, but stupid. If you want to use this little cleverness to attract your attention, you can join the seminaries. That's not just stupid, it's ridiculous. Sure enough, there really won't be anyone noteworthy in this remote place in Donghai province. Let's take it easy. If anyone dares to taunt you back home, I'll break his legs. Is that the teacher from the theological seminary? He is indeed amazing. In front of the hundreds of meters high waves, Ji Yu Changge looks extremely small, like an ant. Naturally, he noticed Li Yunxiao and the others from the beginning, but what he cared about most was naturally the teacher who seemed to be a teacher from the theological academies. Su Lemon. Occupation. Valkyrie, 7th turn, special hidden occupation. Level 451. Combat power, 1379 stars. Question mark. More than 1,000 stars, is this the 7th turn giant? It's really amazing. She's still a Valkyrie. Seeing these attributes, Ji Yu Changge was also deeply shocked. Valkyrie, just by hearing this name, you know that she is something special. This is also a very special hidden profession among the warrior professions. Ranked according to combat effectiveness in the display, it is enough to rank in the top 5. The combat power of more than 1,000 stars is even more astonishing. Even if he has a 100-fold increase, I am afraid it will be difficult to defeat him. After all, although his defense and other attributes are far superior to those of the same level, they are still far behind compared to the Rank 7 boss. If he can't kill him instantly, he will definitely die. Well, I can't afford it. But that's the name, Su Meng. It's indeed a bit cute. At this time, he was even more eager to become stronger as soon as possible. Compared with the real boss, he was still too weak. With one teacher so powerful, these seminaries are really not simple. At the same time, he also looked forward to the seminaries even more. Change your job as soon as possible, otherwise you may not be able to get in. Shaking his head and throwing these thoughts out of his mind for the time being, Ji Yu Changge continued to walk forward. Facing the beast tide is indeed not a rational choice, but he must do it. There are many reasons for the beast tide, but most of the time it is due to the appearance of terrifying monsters. And here, what monster is more terrifying than the king of the near sea? In other words, after this beast tide, there is very likely to be a coon whale. Roar. At this time, many wild monsters also noticed him. Although he has water affinity, it is of little use in front of so many sea monsters. Boom. 100-meter high waves and thousands of sea monsters smashed at him. The terrifying attack made no one even have the courage to resist. Hey, get away quickly. Lu Yuxian reminded loudly, her face full of anxiety. Although she didn't know this guy, she didn't want to see such a handsome boy die in front of her. At this time, Ji Chengge suddenly turned his head, smiled at her, and then turned around and pulled out the long knife. Frost knife. Quality. Diamond. Usable level. 50 can be used if the constitution is 300 or above. Physique plus 50. Born in a land of extreme frost, has a freezing effect after use, causing continuous damage to the enemy for 30 seconds. Hidden attribute 1. Continuous damage increases by 300 seconds. Hidden attribute 2. Freezing effect distance 10. This is a diamond quality long knife that looks ordinary. In fact, with the blessing of 2 hidden attributes, its power is no less than that of epic equipment. Cut. With a calm voice, Ji Chengge's right hand holding the long knife gently waved it down. A gust of cold wind passed away in a flash, and everyone couldn't help feeling stunned. When they looked up again, Ji Chengge's long knife had returned behind them. It seemed like nothing happened just now, but the way Su Meng looked at him changed instantly. The previous contempt completely disappeared, and was replaced by deep surprise and appreciation. Whoosh! At this time, the 100-meter-long wave in front of Ji Chengge suddenly opened a 100-meter-long ravine in the middle, as if it was cut off by something. Boom! The waves were roaring, and countless sea monsters turned into nothingness in the ravine, and the inexplicable power completely crushed them. The ravine was 400 to 500 meters long and nearly 100 meters deep, and the entire sea surface was trembling. Ah, what happened? What is this? Many young people in the shield stared wide-eyed and couldn't help but retreat. By this time, they didn't even understand what was going on. Look, it's freezing, it's freezing. A shout made them look in the direction of Ji Chengge again. He saw that the sea surface in front of him had turned into ice, and he could not see the end at a glance. The waves that were divided into 2 halves in the sky also turned into thick ice, but they still maintained their original appearance. Ji Chengge, on the other hand, was walking on the ice in the middle of the waves, walking ahead very calmly. This. Lu Yuxian looked straight at Ji Chengge's background, her eyes almost became blurred, and her saliva flowed out unknowingly. So handsome. So handsome. Although the others were not drooling, they were not much better than him. This is him, he did it. How can it be? Who is he? The waves are cut with a knife and frozen 10,000 meters away. Who is this giant? Li Yunxiao said lightly, replaying the scene just now in his mind over and over again, and said involuntarily. He seems to have just awakened. No, is this still a human being? Regardless of their reactions, Su Meng next to her was also full of surprise, but she was indeed much better than them. The combat power shown by the sword just now is at least 300 stars, no, it may have reached 500 stars. But he is only level 50. Who is he? Is he from Donghai? Su Meng was lost in thought, and he could tell that Ji Chengge had just awakened. This is what shocked him. He had such shocking combat power just after awakening. Let alone the East China Sea, there probably aren't many such monsters in the whole world. Even in their theological academies, only those first-ranked god seeds may have such potential and talent. Maybe, she really discovered an amazing monster this time. Thousands of meters of ice cover, and a cold breath continues to permeate the sea. The densely packed sea monsters still maintained their previous strange posture in the ice. Ji Chengge was walking on the ice, and the people behind him were wide-eyed and breathing cautiously. This scene looked a bit beautiful. Boom. However, at this moment, a roar suddenly sounded. I saw a large hole of more than 100 meters appearing on the endless ice. Woo! A strange cry sounded, and then a 100-meter sea monster emerged from under the ice and jumped high. Huge waves rolled in the air, and rainbows of 7 colors appeared under the sunlight. And under the reflection of the colorful rainbow, the huge sea monster that can be seen at a glance looks very scary. Boom! Soon, the sea monster hit hard, and the surrounding ice instantly shattered, and everything seemed to return to its previous appearance. Then, what is that? Li Yunxiao and more than a dozen people turned their heads hurriedly, looking for the sea monster everywhere. Their brains were completely exhausted. Thousands of meters of ice had just been frozen, but now a sea monster of several hundred meters appeared. Is the offshore area of the East China Sea so scary? I see. Suddenly, Lu Yuxian said loudly. The king of the offshore, this is the king of the offshore, the Kun whale. What, the king of the offshore? Others quickly recognized him. After all, they were all geniuses and their knowledge was far beyond that of ordinary people. Their faces were full of surprise and even fear. They had read a lot of information about the king of offshore, and they had only thought it was very powerful before. But after seeing it with their own eyes, they truly realized how terrifying this guy was. It's 100 meters long, so big that you can't even see the whole body, leaving people with no courage to resist. Woo 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 woo. At this time, the king of the offshore sea jumped out of the sea again. The big mouth opened and swallowed up many sea monsters around it. At a glance, there were probably at least hundreds of them. Gudong. Is this the Kun whale eating? This is too scary. Look, that person actually walked towards Kun whale. What? The faces of several people changed drastically, and they looked at Ji Yu Chengge hurriedly, their words full of anxiety. He doesn't want his life. The frozen sea is indeed very handsome, but this is the king of the offshore sea. The frozen sea is completely useless. What on earth is he doing? Go quickly, don't go and die. Hey, handsome guy, come back soon. Among the people present, the calmest ones were of course Su Meng, the teacher of the seminary, and Ji Yu Chengge, who was closest to Kunjing. Kun whale, king of offshore. Level 320. The darling of the ocean, a ruthless rice drying machine. If you disturb his eating, sorry, you will become delicious food. Talent, ancient behemoth, son of the ocean, crazy devouring. Combat power, 501 stars. Looking at the extremely luxurious data panel, Ji Yu Chengge was not too surprised. After all, he is the king of the sea. If he is not good at fighting, then it is impossible for him to have only 500 stars of combat power at more than 300 levels. Of course, this is already very scary. With such strength, no one in the entire offshore sea can be its opponent. And Ji Yu Chengge's mission is to kill this big guy and get the heart of the Kun whale. Glancing slightly behind him, feeling the extremely powerful gaze, he thought for a moment before taking action. Whoosh! A fireball dozens of meters long suddenly appeared on the sea, but the target was not the king of the offshore sea, but Ji Yu Chengge. Before anyone could react, the flames engulfed him. Ah, what's this? Li Yunxiao and others looked confused. They didn't understand at all. They were fine just now, but suddenly a big fireball came and swallowed Ji Yu Chengge directly. Is he dead? I don't know either, don't ask me. Could it be that Teacher Su took action? Impossible, how could Teacher Su do this? Everyone looked at Su Meng cautiously and continued to discuss quietly. She didn't care about such speculations, but looked at the Kun whale and the figure in the flames as seriously as before. She knew that this fireball was released by Ji Yu Chengge. The purpose is nothing more than to cover up one's own aura. This is not boring. Top geniuses have their own secrets, and that's understandable. She was also like this at the beginning. She awakened an extremely special hidden profession and was frightened every day. She was extremely cautious in everything she did. I understand. In the midst of the infinite flames, Ji Yu Chengge also took out the infernal staff, took a deep breath, and became extremely serious. Almost all the magic power was consumed to release the magic. This was the first time he had done such a thing, so he was inevitably a little nervous. But there was no way, he had to do it. O demon dragon from the abyss of hell, obey my call, release your infinite anger, and burn everything. In about 10 seconds, he completed the spell casting, and a full 3,000 magic powers were consumed. Ji Yu Chengge's face turned pale, and he felt as if he had been hollowed out in an instant. Let me see your power. He looked forward to it. This was definitely the most terrifying skill he had unleashed so far. As for how strong it is, he doesn't know. Roar. A low roar suddenly sounded. The sound was not loud, but it rang in the ears of everyone in the nearby sea. It was like the whisper of a devil, making people want to tremble. Snapped. The blue sky suddenly shattered like a mirror, and a huge claw fell from the sky without warning. Roar. Demonic energy billowed in the sky instantly, and endless purgatory fire crows covered the sky and the sun. In just a few seconds, tens of thousands of miles of the East China Sea turned into a sea of demons. A huge, indescribable dragon head emerged from the demonic sea, spitting out endless flames, and the calm sea instantly turned into a purgatory. Ding dong, congratulations on successfully killing Coon Whale, the king of the offshore, with experience plus 3 million, strength plus 300, and constitution plus 500. A series of reminders appeared in my mind, and where the Coon Whale had been, there was only a gleaming golden light, and all kinds of equipment scattered all over the ground. In the middle position, a blue transparent star is particularly conspicuous. Is he going to die? Looking at the giant dragon in the sky, Ji Yu Chang'e was a little confused. I thought there would be a big battle, but I didn't expect that the offshore king was killed just at the beginning. He even had a feeling that even Su Meng, who had more than 1,000 stars of combat power, could only be killed instantly in front of this hell dragon. Oh, boss, can you leave some for us next time? At this moment, 2 huge dragon heads suddenly emerged from the demon sea, and they were no worse than the previous one. It turns out to be 3 hell dragons. Ji Yu Chang'e was stunned for a moment, then quickly picked up all the equipment and waved his hand lightly. No, I don't want to leave. No, my lord. The gate to hell opened again, and the hell dragon struggled, and finally slowly dissipated. And Ji Yu Chang'e has long since disappeared. Ding dong, congratulations on successfully picking up the heart of the Coon Whale. Ding dong, congratulations on successfully picking up the mythical equipment blueprint fragments. Hell dragon. In the East China Sea, Su Meng, who had always been very calm, finally changed his expression when looking at the hell demon dragon in the demonic sea. How can it be? As a super strong person who had fought against the abyss demon, she certainly knew the hell demon dragon, and she knew even more how terrifying this guy was. It can be said that even though she is considered a strong person in the entire world, she is not even qualified to challenge the hell dragon. Not good. In the sky, the purgatory dragon's breath fell from the sky. Although the target was not her, Su Meng still felt the dangerous aura. Martial god body. Golden light flickered on her body, and a huge 100-meter shadow blocked her body, barely resisting the aftermath of the purgatory dragon's breath. Although it only lasted less than 3 seconds, it was enough. In 1 second, with one kick and one kick, Li Yunxiao and more than a dozen people were all lifted 1,000 meters away by her, and then connected with a teleportation talisman. The magic circle enveloped everyone, and she and these teenagers appeared on the east coast the next moment. Roar. At this time, the magic dragon rolled in the sky and revealed 3 heads. Hiss, these are 3 purgatory dragons. At this time, she had no idea of escape. If there were really 3 purgatory dragons, she would not be able to escape unless she left Donghai province. This is the 9th rank, a legendary monster comparable to a god. If he attacks with all his strength, the dragon's breath alone can destroy all the surrounding cities. The entire Donghai province is in danger of destruction. Fortunately, the next moment, the 3 hell dragons roared unwillingly and returned to the abyss of purgatory again. Call. After a while, she breathed a sigh of relief, and then she realized that she had been sweating profusely. This guy's magic. Ji Yu Chang'e couldn't help but appear in his mind. Su Meng, who had a cold personality, was very confused inside. 8th level, or 9th level magic. Thinking of the scenes of teachers in the academy releasing 8th level magic, she shook her head violently. No, although the power is a bit worse than the 8th or 9th level, summoning 3 hell dragons must be higher than the 9th level. Is it a forbidden spell? But, he's only level 50, how could he be able to ban spells? Hidden profession. Still, thinking of these, her heart became more and more chaotic. At this time, the king of the near sea had disappeared, but she had long forgotten about this guy. After all, Ding Po Tian was only as good as rank 6, and she herself was rank 7, so she could easily kill him. Hell Dragon, a boy who is only level 50, a forbidden curse. In the face of this information, the offshore king is already insignificant. Unfortunately, Ji Chengge had disappeared by this time, and even she had no trace. Don't worry, let's go back to find the teacher. Maybe she can discover something. He is just a warrior and does not have skills such as divination. Su Meng temporarily discovered his plan to find Ji Chengge. Besides, she didn't want to look for the ability to summon 3 hell dragons. It would be too dangerous if he was misunderstood. No, we must check it out. If there is no problem with his identity, then his talent and profession must be unimaginable. It may even be a new hidden profession that has never been recorded. If that's the case, I'll recruit you into the academy no matter what. After thinking about all this, she looked at the dozen or so people who were already dumbfounded. Unable to ask them, she immediately took out a disposable skill scroll and directly changed their memories. In their impression, Ji Chengge was frozen thousands of miles away, resisting the tide of beasts. Although the king of offshore appeared, there was no big battle. In this way, true and false memories are not easily discovered. After all, the commotion here was so loud that it must have attracted the attention of many people, and she must not leave any loopholes. Lemon, there is news from the Magician Association that there is a suspected wave of monsters above level 8 in the East China Sea. What happened? At this moment, a projection suddenly appeared in front of her, and only she could see it. In the projection is a white-haired back figure, the surroundings are blurry, and nothing can be seen clearly. Teacher, I am in the East China Sea. It's just that the phantom of the hell demon dragon caused by the remaining magic circle on the seabed disappeared quickly. Only one offshore king was affected, and no other damage was caused. Magic circle. The figure in the projection lowered his head, seemingly lost in thought. Perhaps it was the failure of the boundary-breaking magic circle by alien monsters. Such a situation has occurred in the depths of the East China Sea before, and it was not a big deal. Then check it carefully and give a report to the Magician Association over the East China Sea to inform them of the specific situation. Okay, teacher. The projection ended quickly, and Su Meng did not tell the truth. Of course, she never thought of hiding it from the teacher. The main reason is that the projection is not safe, and the matter between the 3 hell dragons and that boy is too big. She had to tell the teacher in person, otherwise if others found out, there might be all kinds of other troubles. Okay, then quickly go to Qingshan City, take away the little mage Guangming, and then quickly return to the academy to find the teacher. As for the genius Mo Shuping mentioned, he is probably no more than the same as these people at most, or simply disappeared. It's more important to save time and go back early. In a certain space, a white-haired old man stood on a strange star, his brows slightly furrowed, as if he was thinking about something. What happened? This girl Lemon didn't dare to say directly in the projection that she went to Donghai to recruit students. Could it be that a monster comparable to the first series has appeared? That's unlikely. Coon Whale Heart. Quality. Golden legendary item. The heart of the king of the near sea contains the essence of the ocean and possesses unimaginable mysterious power. It is said that after using it, you can receive the blessing of the sea god. In the job transfer temple, Ji Chengge saw the blue heart in front of his eyes like a work of art, and he was inevitably a little excited. Finally got it. However, the power of the hell dragon was indeed far beyond his expectation and too powerful. This time things seemed to be a bit bigger. Such a big movement must have been noticed by many people. It's all trouble, especially teacher Su from the seminaries. Although she has hidden herself, she must have discovered something abnormal. Actually don't worry too much, the soldiers will come to cover up the water and the earth. Ji Chengge knows very well that the solution to all troubles is strength. Now that he is only level 50, the hell demon dragon has such terrifying power. After changing jobs, his strength will increase dramatically, and his skills will become more powerful. Unless he is a strong person who uses level 8 or even level 9 right from the start, even if he cannot be defeated, he cannot be killed. And with the enlightenment of all things, as long as you give him a little time, he can quickly surpass everyone. At that time, his secret will no longer be a secret, and no one will dare to pay attention to him anymore. As for whether the super giants above rank 8 will take action against him now, Ji Chang'e thinks it is unlikely. After all, have you ever seen any game start with the strongest boss directly attacking a new player? Change your job as soon as possible, and you don't know what new talents you will have. With anticipation, Ji Chang'e raised his head and looked at the statue of the transferred god. Submit Kun Whale Heart. Third job transfer mission. Treasure of the ocean, submit the heart of the Kun whale. Difficulty: 7 stars. Completeness: flawless. It was still a flawless evaluation. The familiar golden light was used again. He only felt a light touch and his body was wrapped in indescribable warmth. So comfortable, he felt as if he was lying on the extremely soft bed after taking a bath, and his body was so light that he was floating in heaven. Unfortunately, good times are always short. Soon, the golden light completely integrated into the body. Job transfer completed. Following the prompt, Ji Chang'e opened his eyes with a slight aftertaste. Ji Chang'e. Occupation: Sanren. Third transfer. Level: 53 turns. Physique: 5127. Magic power: 4500. Agility: 4956. Power: 5023. Wisdom: 5000. Status: blessed by the power of Sea Spirit. Equipment: Purgatory Crown, Purgatory Staff, Purgatory Robe, Purgatory Pants, Purgatory Boots. Combat power: 199 stars. Looking at the properties panel, Ji Chang'e didn't have many surprises. The combat power of 199 stars is almost the same as that of a level 4 level 180 Skylark. This means that he who has just reached level 50 in the third level, judging from the comprehensive data, is actually almost the same as Skylark who has reached level 180 in the fourth level. Of course, if you compare from a single attribute, for example, Skylark is the Moon Shadow Assassin. So at level 180, her agility is probably better than hers. After all, this is the focus of her career development. But the other 4 estimates are not even close to my own. The combat power of the third level is probably between 20 and 100 stars. He feels that if he reaches level 100, his combat power in terms of attributes is estimated to be at least 250 stars. Coupled with those skills, if I take the lead now and attack with all my strength, I should be able to kill 6 professional players instantly. Thinking, Ji Chang'e looked at the status on the panel. This data was not available before, and he guessed it had something to do with the Kun whale's heart. Because he felt it when he changed jobs. The heart of Kunjing did not disappear, but merged with himself. Ding dong, because Ji Chang'e successfully fused the heart of the Kun whale, he gained 1 point of Poseidon's power and triggered a special hidden professional mission. Mission: The Chase of the Divine Warrior. Level: Mythical Mission. Description: Gods are aloof and possess unpredictable powers, but mortals can also kill gods. In the ancient times when the gods were in chaos, there were human beings who hunted the gods to obtain the power of the gods. They were called divine warriors. Currently unlocked God: Poseidon. Power of Sea Spirit: 1 point. This is. Seeing so much information, Ji Chang'e was a little confused for a while. Of course he has heard of the warrior god. Like the Valkyrie, this is a very, very special hidden profession in the warrior series. Strictly speaking, the divine warrior is even more powerful than the Valkyrie. Because the Valkyrie uses the power of gods to cultivate the power of gods. The divine warrior, on the other hand, hunts and kills gods to refine and control the power of the gods. Because of this, although the divine warriors are powerful, they basically cannot survive for long. This profession is gradually disappearing completely. Even if someone wakes up, he will become a laughingstock, and is regarded by many as one of the most useless professions. Unexpectedly, he actually activated the hidden mission of the divine warrior. Of course, this is just the beginning of the mission, and he does not have the strength to hunt gods now. To put it simply, killing the king of the offshore activates the Poseidon series in the divine warrior. From now on, by hunting powerful sea monsters, he can gain the power of the sea spirit. The power of the sea spirit can not only enhance his various attributes, but also greatly increase his combat effectiveness in the sea, and can even mobilize sea water. For example, if he goes to the frozen sea now, with the blessing of Poseidon's power, the frozen range can be increased by at least 10%, and the ice surface is sharper. And this is just the effect of 1 point of sea spirit power, not to mention that when you get enough sea spirit power, you can even transform into the power of the sea god. Very good. Now there is an additional way to increase strength. Ji Yu Chang'e smiled slightly and looked at the fragment in his hand. Mythical Equipment Blueprint Fragments Main Weapon. Description: collect all the fragments to create a mythical main weapon according to the drawings. Random. Current progress 1/6. Mythical Equipment. Looking at the fragments in his hand, Ji Yu Chang'e tried to calm himself down. Mythical Equipment. An existence beyond the Golden Legend. There is no doubt that around the world, mythical equipment represents invincibility. Therefore, the quantity is pitifully small, and the appearance of each one will cause a huge sensation. Even though he only had fragments of equipment blueprints in his hands, if others knew about it, many top forces and consortiums would come immediately. As long as he dares to speak, no matter if it's tens of billions or even hundreds of billions, there will be people rushing to trade. It's hard to do. There are 6 fragments in total. I'm afraid it will be difficult to put them together. However, although this thing is very precious, it is just a fragment after all, and it is of no use to him now. Just wait and see if you can collect other fragments. If he really gets it all together, then he can have a piece of mythical equipment. It's a little exciting to think about it. After packing everything up, he looked at the final harvest. Chanting of the true God. No chanting is required to release any skills. The casting time is 0 and can be released directly and instantly. This is his new talent, and it is simply ridiculously strong. As we all know, the more powerful a skill, especially magic, the longer it takes to cast. Just like the roar of the Hell Dragon, it only takes 10 seconds. Because it is a skill that comes with the set, the time required to cast it has been cut in half. If it is an active skill, it will take longer. 10 seconds is enough for ordinary people to endure it. But for high-level professionals, even 1 second will become a loophole in the battle, enough to kill a dozen times. Therefore, high-level magicians either have a bunch of defensive props or are protected by a bunch of warriors. Otherwise, it will be dangerous when casting spells. The talent of True God chanting perfectly solves this problem. Not just magic, any skill can be released instantly. In other words, if anyone dares to deal with him, he can immediately release a Hell Dragon. That scene, that movement, was really cool. In fact, the third turn will not awaken the talent. This is purely because of the enlightenment of all things, and he has upgraded again. At level 3, he can already activate 3 hidden attributes, and he can activate another hidden talent at will. Okay, the next step is to kill monsters, first upgrade to level 100, and then change jobs. Fragments of the blueprints of mythical equipment, as well as missions for divine warriors and the academies of the gods. There are so many things to do, so busy. Ji Yu Chang'e shook his head and couldn't help but think of the feeling when he changed jobs. Well, actually, if you have time, it's not impossible to take a bath and get a massage. He must have never experienced a massage from another world. It is said that there are professionals in this field who can make people feel extremely comfortable. Classmate Ji Yu, the teachers from the seminaries are here. Come here now. Just as he was about to go to the dungeon to slay monsters, he suddenly received a message from Mo Qingxie on his smart card. She's here, so soon. Ji Yu Chang'e thought that Su Mengmeng would go to other places to find geniuses. It seemed that the one he met before was the strongest genius in Donghai. I don't know if they were selected or not. It's only been 3 rounds, I don't know if it's strong enough. He suddenly became nervous. After all, although he was already considered very strong, he was still a 6-star theological academy. Its terrifying power is imprinted in almost everyone's mind. When everyone was young, their parents almost always asked them, should they go to the Academy of the Gods or the Gods when they grow up? When I grew up, I realized that it was very difficult for such a chicken-feathered god to get into a 1-star academy. Therefore, in the minds of most people, the seminaries are an unattainable and extremely distant dream. Okay, I'll be there soon. After replying the message, Ji Yu Chang'e quickly left the job transfer temple. Sister Su, just wait a little longer, he will be here soon. In the villa, Mo Qingxie looked at Su Meng longingly. Ji Yu Chang'e is really, really good. Everyone was defeated by him in the joint entrance examination. He is at least level 30 now. Since it was not made public, she did not know Ji Yu Chengge's specific rank. Okay, then I'll give her another chance for your sake. Seeing Mo Qingshui's cute yet aggrieved look, even Su Mengmeng, who had always been cold, couldn't help but feel soft. Mainly because this girl looks so much like her mother. Every time I see her I can't help but think of that woman. When she was a child, she was the follower behind Mo Qingshui's mother and Mo Shuping, calling her brother and sister every day. Later she awakened the Valkyrie and was taken to the school of the gods by her teacher. It wasn't until she graduated that she discovered that the kind-hearted woman had an accident, and Mo Shuping took his daughter to the remote East China Sea to become the city lord. At that time, she was taken care of by the two of them, so they decided to take Mo Qingshui to the school of gods after she awakened. Although the talent is a bit lacking, it's not a big problem. Hey, thank you Sister Su, you are the best. Mo Qingshui directly grabbed Su Meng's arm. Although they had only met twice, her relationship with Su Meng was still okay. After all, she is a coquettish love brain. Bah, what a love brain. I'm not a love brain. Ha, classmate Ji Yu, it's all his fault. Looking at Mo Qingshui's appearance, Su Meng could not help but shake her head. This girl is still too naive. A genius from a small city has a zero chance of joining the seminaries of the gods. Unless he has strength and potential comparable to that boy. But little girl, you better not have too high hopes. Su Meng once again regained his previous coolness. The top genius in your eyes may not even be as good as the one who sweeps the gates of the seminaries. This is impossible. Mo Qingshui's eyes widened with a look of disbelief on her face, while Mo Shuping next to her side and agreed very much with what she just said. Sometimes, the gap between people is unbelievably huge. Nothing is impossible. You will understand what I say when you get to the seminary. The geniuses I tested in the East China Sea 2 days ago were all at least level 30, and their combat power was above 20 stars, but none of them passed the test. Su Meng continued, and the assessment conditions are much different from those of the theological academies. Do you still think that genius you mentioned is very powerful? She didn't mean to hit her, but she didn't want this girl to be too disappointed. She had experienced all these things before. Mo Qingshui was silent. She knew Sister Su would not lie, but she thought of Ji Yu Chengge's fireballs all over the sky. She still raised her head, her eyes very firm. Sister Su, Ji Yu Chengge is really awesome. Okay, then let me see how powerful you are as Ji Yu Chengge. Soon, 10 minutes passed, and a familiar figure appeared at the door of the villa. Haha, he's here. After receiving the message on the smart card, Mo Qingshui came to the door first. She wanted to explain it to Ji Yu Chengge first. Classmate Ji Yu, Teacher Su will test you later. You must use all your strength and be serious again. Full strength, Ji Yu Chengge asked subconsciously, and the shadow of the Hell Dragon appeared in his mind. Yes, it must be all strength. Mo Qingshui nodded heavily. Even though she was so confident just now, she was actually very worried. Classmate Ji Yu is indeed very powerful, but even the top geniuses in the entire Donghai province have failed. Can he really do it? Where will he go if he fails? Should I go with him? She didn't know why, but her mind suddenly started to have random thoughts. Okay, don't worry, it'll be no problem. After rubbing Mo Qingshui's head, the two walked into the villa. Teacher Su, this Ji Yu Chengge is really good, much better than me before. In the villa, Mo Shuping was also careful to say nice things, but he didn't think Ji Yu Chengge could enter the seminaries for a long time. He is still too naive. How can a Sanren with no background enter the most powerful 6-star seminaries in the world? It's you. However, at this moment, Su Meng in front of him suddenly disappeared. With a flash of red light, she appeared in front of Ji Yu Chengge, her face full of surprise. What a coincidence, we meet again. Ji Yu Chengge seemed more calm and relaxed, but he was already prepared to run away at any time. As long as this woman revealed the slightest bad idea, he would immediately tear up the teleportation scroll and run away. Are you the Ji Yu Chengge that the girl said? Are you in your third job? Right, nodding, Ji Yu Chengge didn't know what to say for a while. Sister Su, do you know each other? At this time, Mo Qingshui couldn't help but ask. Nodding, Su Meng's heart was filled with shock and deep surprise. I was originally thinking about how to ask the teacher to tell fortunes, but I didn't expect that Ji Chang'e, who instantly killed the king of offshore, appeared in front of me. Then, can we allow Mr. Ji to join the School of Gods? He is really awesome. Although she knew this was inappropriate, Mo Qingshe couldn't help but say it. Qingshe. Mo Shuping felt nervous and hurriedly reminded him that he shouldn't say such nonsense. After all, their relationship with Su Meng was only okay. Taking a deep breath, Su Meng calmed down, and a smile appeared on his face when he looked at the three of them. Sure, if he can't join the seminaries, I'm afraid no one in the world can join. After speaking, she looked at Ji Chang'e seriously. Student Ji, on behalf of the theological seminaries, I would like to extend a sincere invitation to you. I hope you can join the theological seminaries. Ji Chang'e did not answer immediately, thinking carefully in his heart. Teacher Su must know that he has some secrets. Is it for his secrets or for other purposes to invite him now? This world is much more dangerous than games. If you die, you will really die. He has to think so much. How much danger am I in by joining the seminaries? Seeing Ji Chang'e's look, Su Meng could actually guess what he was worried about. I want to talk to classmate Ji alone. Good. Mo Shuping immediately left the yard with his brain-overloaded daughter, leaving only Ji Chang'e around. Classmate Ji, I think you should be worried about me robbing you of your secrets, right? As soon as he finished speaking, the surrounding space seemed to freeze. Actually, you're overthinking it. Who among all geniuses doesn't have secrets? Especially those top monsters, you wouldn't think that they are really that strong because of their talent. Ji Chang'e was stunned and his eyes suddenly lit up. He found that he did seem to be thinking too much. I am always worried that my secret will be discovered by others, but as Teacher Su said, what genius doesn't have some secrets? It is true that his upgrade speed is indeed very fast, and his combat power is a bit beyond the standard. But he believes that there must be someone faster than him in this world. Not to mention other things, the descendants of those 9-level bosses, if countless resources are accumulated, they may be able to level up faster than him. As for the magic of the Hell Dragon in the past 2 days, it is indeed a bit too perverted, but there is a reason for it. Disposable scrolls, divine inheritors, special hidden professions, and more. So, in fact, he doesn't have to worry too much about his secret being exposed. After all, as long as he didn't say anything, it would be impossible for anyone to think that he could activate hidden attributes. Besides, even if he said it, no one would believe it. Thinking of this, he suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. At this time, Su Meng took a deep breath and suddenly said to Ji Chang'e, "The seminaries will not inquire into your secrets, nor will they seize them. That will only reduce the value of genius. If that were the case, who would join the academy? Besides, who doesn't have some secrets?" As soon as he finished speaking, Su Meng's body suddenly emitted a red mysterious power mixed with gold. This power is not strong, but it exudes an aura that transcends everything. This is the power of the gods. The power of the gods. In less than 3 seconds, Su Meng returned to normal, but Ji Chang'e's eyes widened. Coming to this world, this was the first time he was so surprised. If he had read correctly just now, this Teacher Su seemed to be showing the power of a god. No, is this Valkyrie so powerful? It took only 7 turns to control the power of the gods. This means that as long as she doesn't die, she can at least become rank 8 or even rank 9. If it were him, he would definitely keep this secret and never let others know. But Teacher Su just showed it directly, which means that at least the seminaries know this secret. But they did not take it for themselves, but vigorously cultivated it. For a moment, he felt instantly smaller. It's too small, it's really too small. Ha ha, he suddenly couldn't help but laugh. Su Meng frowned slightly, with a puzzled look on his cold face. Why are you laughing? It's nothing, I'm just curious. You just told me your secret. Aren't you afraid that I'll talk about it everywhere? You will not, Su Meng said lightly. Even she didn't know why she believed in Ji Chang'e so much. Just now, it was because Ji Chang'e's talent was so abnormal that she was eager to recruit him into the academy, so she exposed her secret. Looking at Su Meng's cold face, Ji Chang'e almost couldn't help but speak. Teacher Su, you don't want your secret to be known to others, right? Ji Yu Chang'e, can you give me your answer now? Are you willing to join the seminaries of the gods? Ji Yu Chang'e did not agree immediately, but raised his head and asked. What's in it for me to join the academy? The benefits are beyond your imagination now. First of all, you will truly understand the world and see more strong people. For example, the strongest people here are the 4th level professionals, but in the seminaries of the gods, the 9th level bosses will give you lectures regularly, and the 8th level ones can be seen almost every day. This alone can save you decades of struggle. In addition, guilds, artifacts, legendary secret realms, alien spaces, abyss demons, realms of gods, etc., etc., as long as you perform well enough, the theological academies can provide you with opportunities. Su Menglong paused, with a cold smile on his face. In fact, as long as you have the ability, the academy can even help you become a god. In short, there is nothing the academy can't do except what you can't think of. After hearing these words, Ji Yu Chang'e admitted that he had a small orgasm. It's like when he goes to the bathhouse to take a bath, the young lady said, there is nothing you can't think of, there is no way we can't do it. It's so exciting. Ahem, if that's the case, it would be a bit shameless for me to refuse. But look, I'm so good, are there any extra rewards? The words sounded tempting, but he still wanted some real benefits. There will be an admission assessment when you join the academy. If you want to benefit, then perform well enough in the assessment. As long as it satisfies the teachers and deans, I can do whatever I want. Are you sure anything is okay? Ji Yu Chang'e couldn't help but ask. He felt that Teacher Su was bragging. Yes, anything is fine. What if it's a divine weapon? Su Meng was not surprised. Ji Yu Chang'e was not the first person to say this. As long as it's perverted enough, a divine weapon will do. But I advise you not to be too arrogant. Although you may not think too much based on your strength, if you fail the assessment, you will not be able to enter the academy. Well, I understand, Ji Yu Chang'e said seriously, and Su Meng nodded. It seemed that this little monster was afraid of not being able to enter the academy. How does she know what kind of performance Ji Yu Chang'e wants to conquer the little old men in the seminaries and obtain the artifact? This is really a headache. Otherwise, if you summon another hell dragon and kill the dean, you will be the one. Forget it, let's talk about it then. What if the dean is not an old man? Then, Mo Qingshe also came in. Su Meng looked at the two of them and said. Okay, you two pack up and I'll take you back to the academy tomorrow. Yes, Sister Su. Mo Qingshe was very excited and glanced at Ji Yu Chang'e from the corner of her eyes. Hee, classmate Ji Yu is also going to join the seminaries of the gods. She knew that classmate Ji Yu was the most powerful. Humph, let Dad and Linglong not believe him, and Sister Su. You believe it now. Even Sister Su took the initiative to invite classmate Ji Yu. Can I go by myself? Ji Yu Chang'e said that there was still 1 month left before the start of the seminary, and he did not want to go there so early. Okay, but what do you want to do? I want to complete the 4th transfer before going to the academy and gain experience by the way. Although he was very confident in his heart, he still hoped to become stronger before going to the academy. After all, those who can enter are the strongest geniuses in the world. It is obviously impossible to say that there is no pressure at all. Good. Su Meng didn't say much. As a top genius, he understood the pride in a monster's heart. Be more aware of the competitiveness in their hearts. When many people mention genius, they think of super talent, but they don't know that they actually work harder than many others. It can even be said to be crazy. Mo Qingshe said suddenly, her eyes full of excitement, I want to be with you, classmate Ji Yu. No, Ji Yu Chang'e and Su Meng said almost at the same time. Why, you are too weak. With your current strength, it is impossible to pass the assessment. In the next month, you must undergo special training with me so that you can join the academy. Just as Su Menjman finished speaking, Mo Shuping on the side said hurriedly. That's right, you're going to have special training with Teacher Su. You're not a genius like classmate Ji Yu, so you can't be lazy. Ah, Mo Qingshe was stunned, so she wasn't a genius. The next day, Su Meng looked at Ji Yu Chang'e and suddenly took out a black scroll. This is a 7th level teleportation scroll. It can teleport to 100,000 miles away in an instant. It can save your life if you encounter danger. Ji Yu Chang'e is a bit confused. 7th level magic scroll. How much is this worth? This is the 7th level boss, and he has a life-saving gift worth at least tens of billions. Suddenly, he really wanted to hug teacher Su's thigh. This is so embarrassing. Smiling slightly, Ji Yu Chang'e took the scroll skillfully and smoothly, and waved his hand to Mo Qingxie. Okay, love brain, see you in a month. You can't be lazy. If you fail the test, I will laugh at you forever. Humph, who are you looking down on? Mo Qingxie pouted her lips and said arrogantly, who is not a genius? Be careful, I will surpass you in a month. Oh, that's great. Swish, 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 I'm the little master of monster spawning. On the shadow plane, Ji Yu Chang'e was surrounded by a dense army of skeletons that could not be seen to the end. But he wielded a sword in his left hand and held the infernal staff in his right hand, moving freely among the skeleton army. Boom! 100-meter-long knives and 100-meter-long fireballs fell from the sky, and each attack could take away hundreds or thousands of skeletons. The terrifying skeleton army turned into toys in front of him. This. Behind him, Yunk and the others stared at this scene in stunned silence, even forgetting to attack. Is he here to kill monsters? Why do I feel like I'm on vacation? Is this a Sanran? Is he still human? This is the guild copy of the Overlord Guild. When Ji Yu Chang'e came to spawn monsters and upgrade, they were still worried about danger. Now it seems that their worries are completely unnecessary. There is a danger of wool. Ding dong, successfully killed the skeleton, level 78, experience plus 956. Ding dong, successfully killed the skeleton, level 81, experience plus 989. Ding dong, congratulations on your upgrade. Your current level is level 70. The level of these skeletons is not high, most of them are between level 80 to 100, and because their combat power is lower than that of the same level, they have much less experience. But the advantage lies in the large quantity. The quantity is large and the tube is full, upgrade quickly. In just a short time, he has been upgraded to level 70, which is incredibly fast. In fact, at first he wanted to go to the dungeon to spawn monsters, but not all dungeons had enough monsters. Moreover, some dungeons are also controlled by major forces, so it is a bit troublesome to challenge them, which is a waste of time. So he simply found his good senior Wei Tian to see if he had any copy recommendations. You might as well come to my guild's dungeon. The dungeon has just arrived at the skeleton army. There are as many monsters as you want. What an unexpected surprise. Here's the thing, each guild has its own exclusive copy. But general dungeons are different. Guild dungeons are divided into layers. The more layers you clear, the more rewards you will get, and you can also bring various buffs to the guild. The exclusive dungeon of the Overlord Guild has reached level 100, which is considered a threshold. The monsters on this level are not strong and can usually be easily killed in 3 turns, but the skeleton army is almost ruthless and endless. The consumption can kill people, and Wei Tian can also say that he fights the skeleton army every day. After all, he is the president, and he is usually busy with too many things. Therefore, we can only let the main combat power of the guilds in the 3rd and 4th ranks to fight the dungeon. Now, several months have passed and they still haven't cleared the level. This also gave Wei Tian a little headache. But for Ji Yu Chang'e, what is a surprise on horseback? This is a surprise on horseback. Because only guild members could challenge the dungeon, Wei Tian gave him the status of a temporary member, which was only valid for 3 days. Moreover, if you challenge the dungeon, you won't get guild contribution points, but he doesn't care about that. Looking at the people behind him, Ji Yu Chang'e said, Sister Yunk, I have to wait for a while, why don't you go back first? It's okay, we'll protect you from behind. A level 4 ice shooter said with a smile, looking at Ji Yu Chang'e with a very fiery look. This guy is so perverted. He's so strong before he reaches level 100. It's so exciting. Ahem. Being looked at like this, Ji Yu Chang'e couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed. Come on, are you worthy of protecting my little brother? Yunk kicked the man on the butt and smiled seductively at Ji Yu Chang'e. Little brother, sister, I understand, then let's go out first. Also, remember you promised me that you would treat me to dinner when you came out. After saying that, she left with everyone. She is a smart woman and knows that Ji Yu Chang'e has his own secrets, and it is normal not to let them know. After all, this little brother's strength and performance are really surprising. Sometimes, she felt that her little heart could hardly bear it, so it was better not to watch. Phew, okay. Watching everyone leave, Ji Yu Chang'e smiled again. No one is here, I can finally let go. Seeing the increasing number of skeletons in front of him, he directly used the infernal staff and summoned 100 fireballs that were 100 meters in size to wash the ground. It was considered a greeting gift. Experience value plus 890. Experience value plus 789. ... Ding dong, you have been upgraded. ... Just like this, the number of skeletons on the shadow plane was reduced by almost 1/10. This efficiency is amazing. After that, hell lava was released, the entire dungeon was filled with magma, and the skeleton army was completely eliminated. But new ones soon appeared, which is also the horror of guild copies. These skeletons really have no fear of death and are endless. But after that, he only needs to keep releasing the hell lava, and then find a place to burn it, and there is nothing to do. He didn't know how long it took, but when he stood up again, there was nothing on the plane. Ding dong, you have been upgraded. The current level is 100. Ding dong, you can no longer upgrade, please change jobs as soon as possible. Ding dong, congratulations on successfully clearing the 100th floor of the Hegemony Guild dungeon, and you will be rewarded with the level 3 skill book, Netherworld War Horse. Chapter 41. Ding dong, dear leader of the Overlord Guild, the 100th floor of the guild copy has been cleared. Guild members have plus 1% experience value for killing wild monsters, plus 1% magic recovery speed, and plus 10,000 guild contribution value. While he was practicing his skills, Wei Tian found a series of messages suddenly coming from the system panel, more than a dozen of them. Have you cleared the 100th floor copy? What's the situation? He was so frightened that he punched away the bald vice president who was sparring with him, and immediately opened the dungeon interface. Guild copy. Number of levels cleared. 100 levels. Customs clearance member. Ji Yu Chang'e temporary member. Ah, it's him. Wei Tian suddenly remembered that he seemed to have asked Ji Yu Chang'e to level up in the dungeon. But at first, he just wanted to give this kid a favor. After all, Ji Yu Chang'e's potential is very terrifying, and it is impossible to recruit him into the guild. However, the benefits of selling him in advance will definitely be endless. But who would have thought that Ji Yu Chang'e, a pervert, would clear the 100th level dungeon that had blocked them for months? Hey, now I owe him a favor. Wei Tian suddenly felt a headache. How could he return this favor? What should he give as a gift? How about sending Skylark over? No. Although Skylark is very beautiful, he probably won't want it. Netherworld War Horse. Skill level. Level 3. Description. Summon the Nether War Horse in Death Purgatory, lead professionals through death and danger, and provide powerful combat power. Looking at the skill description in front of him, Ji Yu Chang'e's eyes lit up and he couldn't hide the smile on his face. The Nether War Horse is a very famous undead creature. However, he is not famous for his powerful combat power, but for his weird speed and cool appearance. He was once selected into the top 20 most popular mounts among professionals. Unfortunately, although it is not particularly powerful, it is very difficult to catch because it only appears in areas such as Netherworld Purgatory and is very fast. Therefore, the Nether War Horse is also very rare, and once it appears, it will be snapped up by people. Unexpectedly, he actually got such a skill. This is so cool. Enlightenment of all things. The old rule is to activate the hidden attributes first. Ding dong, the hidden attribute of the Nether War Horse has been successfully activated. Netherworld War Horse. Skill level. Level 3. Hidden attribute 1. The number of summoned ghost war horses plus 2. Hidden attribute 2. The probability of summoning a rare Nether War Horse increases. Hidden attribute 3. Skill duration 10. Well, not bad. Ji Yu Chang'e nodded with satisfaction. Originally he could only summon one Nether War Horse, but the number increased by 2 to 3. And the second hidden attribute is even more powerful. We all know that even within the same species, there are differences in levels and potential. The same is true for the nether war horse. Generally speaking, what kind of horse can be summoned depends on the appearance. Now, the probability of summoning a rare war horse has increased. Coupled with the buff of the invincible Lucky Star, he is really looking forward to what kind of ghost war horse he can summon. All the gods in the sky and the almighty Sanran, give me face and show off your awesomeness. After learning the skills, Ji Chengge prayed into the air. If you are undecided in times of trouble, you must firmly believe in metaphysics. He tapped the purgatory staff in front of him, and a dark gate appeared. Accompanied by a whooshing roar, 3 2-meter-tall nether war horses appeared. They were all red and black, with black bones all over their bodies, and a thick black aura exuded from the surface. This is the nether black flame, one of the most famous flames in nether purgatory. Once it is touched, it will be like a tarsal maggot and cannot be shaken off until the last bone is burned away. Netherworld War Horse Rare Mutation. Level 100. Skills: Netherworld Travel, Death Fog, Death Crash. They are all rare mutations. Ji Chengge looked at the 3 war horses in front of him in surprise, and was also surprised in his heart. Mutated monsters are obviously much more powerful than normal ones, just like nether war horses, which are generally between level 80 to 120. And the 3 mutated ones in front of me can even be upgraded to level 200 after training. In addition, their skills are stronger and more powerful than ordinary ones. It should be noted that after the first summons, these 3 ghost war horses are equivalent to being bound to him. After that, there are 3 of them every time he is summoned, so he can be cultivated and upgraded. Of course, if they die in battle, they will need to be summoned and retrained. After summoning, the 3 of them can last for 8 hours, and then you need to wait 2 hours before summoning again. However, his hidden attribute increases the duration 10 times, which is 80 hours. This is basically the same as being able to use it all the time. I can only say that it is really powerful. Now that we have the war horses, all we need is a carriage. Looking at the 3 nether war horses, Ji Chengge planned to get another carriage, which would make his journey much more convenient. Later, he also left the copy. Now that you have reached level 100 and the purpose of killing monsters has been achieved, there is no need to challenge the dungeon anymore. Ha 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 ha, Junior, you gave me a difficult problem this time. At this time, Wei Tian came over with Yunk and others, his faces full of joy and surprise. Luckily for Skylark and the other 2, they had seen his perversion before. But others can't stand it. Even though they are just a newcomer who has only been awakened for a month, he is still the most useless person. But he helped them clear the dungeon that had not been completed for several months. This is too unreasonable. For a moment, they all felt like useless people. Compared with such people, what's the point of living for them? Haha, Brother Wei, I want to thank you even more this time. If it weren't for the guild dungeon, I wouldn't have reached level 100 so quickly. Haha, don't say that. I should be the one thanking you. You helped me solve this headache of a 100 level copy. Wei Tian said with a smile. He was so polite to Ji Chengge. But the next moment, the smile on his face suddenly solidified. Ah, what? You're level 100. Are you level 100? Wei Tian and others' eyes widened, and their hearts almost jumped out of their chests. Yeah, what's wrong? Ji Chengge nodded and continued, is this fast? Looking at Ji Chengge's harmless face, Wei Tian almost couldn't help it. Quick, are you kidding me? This is pretty invincible. If he remembered correctly, this guy was only level 50 before. Just brush a copy and reach level 100 directly. No, is it that easy to upgrade? He suddenly remembered that it seemed that it took him a year to rise from level 50 to level 100. This is already very fast. After all, spawning monsters is very dangerous. If you are not careful, you will die. But thinking about the hundreds of thousands of skeletons in the dungeon, he felt normal again. After all, there are so many wild monsters. If you kill them all, it will be normal to reach level 100. But those skeletons are all at least level 80, and this guy is only level 50. You are so perverted. Taking several deep breaths, Wei Tiantian managed to calm down. Stay calm and calm, you can't compete with these perverted geniuses, you must stay calm. Ji Yu Chang'e asked, "What's wrong with you guys? Are you okay?" "It's okay, no problem." Wei Tian waved his hand and opened the guild warehouse without saying a word. "Junior, I won't say any polite words. You have done me a big favor by clearing the dungeon this time. You can choose whatever you want here." In an instant, densely packed shiny treasures appeared on the data panel, and Ji Yu Chengde's eyes suddenly lit up. Epic level equipment, several skill books, potions, scrolls, etc., everything you need, at least tens of thousands of pieces. This is the foundation of a level 4 guild. For the first time, Ji Yu Chengde directly felt the power of these big forces, and this was only a level 4 guild. Moreover, he believed that the Hegemony Guild must have more than this, and this was only on the surface. If it were a legendary level 9 guild, it might have a warehouse full of legendary equipment, and the treasures in it would probably exceed hundreds of millions of pieces. It seems that he made the right choice to join the seminaries of the gods. After all, although he is very strong, he will indeed lose many opportunities if he is alone, and it will be more difficult to upgrade and become stronger. He originally wanted to refuse, but when he looked at the treasures in the warehouse, the words of refusal came to his lips, but he couldn't say it. Forget it, this is someone's kind intention, it would be too bad to refuse. Besides, he did help a lot and he deserved it. The treasure dazzled him, but he quickly settled on the target. "That's it." Pointing to an ordinary item, he said to Wei Tian. "Rock carriage. Quality. Diamond. Usable level. Level 1. Description. It has rock-solid properties and can release a shield to resist attacks from level 4 warriors. If you say it is a turtle shell, then congratulations, you are right." Ah, looking at this strange piece of equipment, Wei Tian was stunned. He had forgotten where this equipment came from, but for at least a year, no member had redeemed it, even though the contribution required was only half of the normal diamond equipment. Because although this thing is a carriage and has strong defense, it is extremely heavy. Choose an ordinary mount to pull it, the speed is ridiculously slow, and the mount will collapse after a while. It's an awesome mount, so why would you let it pull the cart? Therefore, this thing is useless and makes people feel very painful. You sure? I am sure. Seeing Ji Yu Chengde's firm eyes, Wei Tian didn't try to persuade him. After all, this is a monster and cannot be treated with common sense. What if there is anything he can do? He doesn't want to be a clown. Anyway, his heart has been given and the relationship between the two has been strengthened, which is enough. "Little brother, now we can go to eat." Good. Afterwards, they had a big meal together, and during this period they didn't encounter any bloody things that were slapped in the face by other guilds. Well, reality is indeed not a novel, and brain damage is not everywhere. "Little brother, are you leaving so soon?" At the entrance of the guild, Yunk and others looked reluctant to leave. Although they had not been together for a short time, their relationship with Ji Yu Chengde was already very good. They also know that unlike the previous times, they may not be able to see each other for a long time after separation this time. "There's no other way. I have to quickly become stronger before the term starts at the Theological Academy. I'm still not strong enough now." Ji Yu Chengde told the truth, and the somewhat sad atmosphere immediately dissipated. Although it was not the first time they heard it, they were still shocked. The Gods College is a 6-star college. It has gods and can rival level 9 guilds. It is a superpower that surpasses other organizations. In the entire Donghai province, no one has joined the academy for several consecutive years. It can be said that there are only 2 kinds of colleges in this world. One is the 6-star academies like Gods and Gods, and the other is other academies. Thinking that the little guy in front of him was personally invited by the Valkyrie to join the gods, he felt extremely shocked and bitter. They are all human, and the gap is too big. Of course, he also knew that Ji Yu Chengde was not an ordinary person, and he was indeed telling the truth. "Okay, then I wish you a safe journey. Bon voyage, little brother, you must join the School of Gods." Several people also congratulated him one after another, but they were inevitably a little worried. After all, his opponent is the strongest genius in the world, and it is really hard to say whether he can pass the test. After saying goodbye to everyone, Ji Yu Chengde did not leave directly, but came to the job transfer temple. The next most important task is to change jobs as soon as possible. "Hello, please come here for the second round." The receptionist of the Yunlong City Job Transfer Temple is not a young lady, but a man with a very pale face. Ji Yu Chengge did not explain and directly showed the level of 100. Ah, my lord, I'm sorry. Level 4, please come here with me. The man's attitude suddenly changed 180 degrees, and he felt very regretful. Looking at Ji Yu Chengge's young appearance, I thought he was a little guy who had just awakened. Unexpectedly, he turned out to be a strong man close to rank 4, and now he was finished. If he offends someone, although he may not be fired, it will definitely be uncomfortable for him. Fortunately, Ji Yu Chengge didn't say anything. He quietly lowered his cocked orchid finger, and he breathed a sigh of relief. Ah, he is handsome, so strong, and has such a good temper. I am in luck today. I don't know how many stars the master's job transfer mission is, it's best to be 1 star. So handsome. The Lost Sky Temple. Looking at the task in front of him, Ji Yu Chengge's mouth twitched and he couldn't help but complain. No, I'll just change my job. Is it so outrageous? 4th job transfer mission. Task difficulty, 7 stars. Description. As the former temple of the sky god, it has been lost for hundreds of years. It is said that the severed wings of the sky god are buried there. Please search for the lost temple and the lost wings. Task progress. Submit divine wings 0/1. Ah. Ji Yu Chengge's mind was confused. He knew that his job transfer task was definitely not easy, but you were a bit over the top. Who doesn't know about the Lost Sky Temple? It is said that the treasure of the sky god is buried there, and who doesn't want it? Don't talk about him, even the 7th turn giants are looking for him. But nearly 100 years have passed, and no one has found it. No matter how confident he was, he would never think that he could find a temple that no one else had discovered for hundreds of years. There is no other way. This is a job transfer task. No matter how difficult it is, you have to do it. Ji Yu Chengge threw away the negative emotions in his heart, and then smiled again. The job transfer task must be completed, even if he is the god of hunting, he cannot give up. There is only so much information about the Sky Temple on the market. If you want more detailed information, you can only try your luck with the witch. Ji Yu Chengge quickly made the next plan. He would first go to the witch and collect as much information as possible about the Sky Temple. A witch is also an extremely rare special profession, capable of divination, prophecy, poisoning, cultivating poison, etc. Although the Miko may not be very strong in terms of combat power, absolutely no one wants to offend her. After all, no one wants to face an opponent who can do divination and poison, and there are bloody examples of this. A rank 7-star knight scolded the Miko Donghai. As a result, he had diarrhea for a month, and then he was hit by a meteorite as soon as he left the house. He almost lost his life. Although there was no evidence to prove that it was the witch who had done it, the day after it was smashed, the Star Knight came to apologize with a bunch of treasures. Of course, this witch is relatively easy to get along with if you don't mess with her. She usually does divination business for people. Ji Yu Chengge was going to find this witch and inquire about the Sky Temple. Netherworld War Horse, come out. Outside the city, 3 nether horses appeared in front of them pulling a rock carriage. It's just that the rock carriage here has completely changed, and there is an extremely strong aura of death lingering on the surface. Rock carriage, hidden attribute 1. Can withstand 200% of the user's power attribute attacks. Hidden attribute 2. Weight reduced by 40%, speed increased by 100%. Hidden attribute 3. Contaminated by the breath of death, it can be hidden in the fog of death and become invisible. The 3 hidden attributes are very abnormal. The first is to resist attacks with double strength attributes. Ji Yu Chengge. Occupation. Sanren 3rd transfer. Level. 100. Physique. 7015. Magic. 6856. Agility. 6958. Power. 7121. Wisdom. 6957. Talent. Enlightenment of all things LV3, 100-fold increase, invincible lucky star, almighty god, true god chanting. Skills. Fireball, Tengman tentacle, whirlwind. Equipment. Purgatory crown, purgatory staff, purgatory robe, purgatory pants, purgatory boots. combat power, 276 stars. This is his current attribute, and his strength has reached 7,000. This means that the rock carriage can withstand more than 15,000 attacks. Such an attack could only be accomplished by a 5th level mage using pure attack magic. The key is that Ji Cheng's attributes will continue to increase, and they will increase tenfold. After the 3rd turn, the free attribute points gained by professionals increase again, and 15 points can be obtained for each upgrade. And his tenfold increase is 150 points, which averages out to 30 points for each attribute. His upgrade from level 50 to level 100 is equivalent to an increase of at least 1500 freedom points in each attribute. Coupled with the attribute increase that comes with the upgrade, after reaching level 100, each of his attributes has probably increased by at least 2000 points. This adds up to at least 10,000 points, which is terrifying just thinking about it. Of course, he still has shortcomings, which need to be acknowledged. That is, there are not many other ways to obtain attributes, and this is also because Donghai province is too remote. This problem will be solved well when he joins the seminaries of the gods, and by then his strength will definitely increase dramatically again. Let's go. With a command, 3 nether war horses immediately pulled him into the darkness at extremely fast speeds. Even with his thousands of points of agility, he could only run at such a speed. On the way, the others only felt a gust of wind blowing beside them, but didn't notice anything. This is the talent of the nether war horse, netherworld travel. It can hide in the darkness and double its speed. Unless it is a special professional, no one will notice it. Feeling the rush of wind and lightning, Ji Chengge, who was lying comfortably in the carriage and reading a book, couldn't help but recite a poem. In ancient times, there were 9 dragons pulling coffins, but now there are 3 horses pulling me. How can I say, Shuang? Because of his extremely fast speed, it only took him half a day to travel, which originally took at least 5 days. Ghost Carriage, YYDS. Rain City, Witch Hut. As the only witch in Donghai province, this place is a bit deserted. This is because the fees charged by witches are very high, and ordinary people cannot afford it, and divination is such a thing. It's hard to say whether it's accurate or not, even for a Miko. Therefore, not so many people came. Humph, luckily I have a few small goals, that should be enough. Looking at the series of numbers on the smart card account, Ji Chengge felt a lot more at ease. With money, I feel a lot more confident. Hey, Golden Retriever, my mother-in-law told me to leave quickly. You only have 1 billion, but you dare to come to your mother-in-law for divination. You're sending a beggar away, go away, go away. Looking at the door, Ji Chengge's raised foot suddenly stopped in the air, and his whole person fell silent for an instant. Did you hear that right? It seems to be 1 billion. Send beggars away. Ah, no, 1 billion is still too little. The confidence I had just gained was gone in an instant. Maybe I heard it wrong, or maybe the divination content is too difficult. I just want to inquire about the Sky Temple. It shouldn't be so expensive. Yes, that's for sure. Ji Chengge smiled slightly and quickly walked into the hut. 2 boys, a boy and a girl, immediately took him to the divination hall, where a blond man was standing awkwardly in the corner with an awkward smile on his face. Which, I am a boy from the Jin family in western Sichuan province. My grandfather, the wild lion god of war, is an old friend of yours. Please be accommodating. In front of the man, an old woman with gray hair who was only half a person tall had her eyes closed, holding a white cat that was almost as big as her in her arms. HMPH, it's useless to say this. The old lion still owes me a lot of debts. You are his grandson, how about you help him pay it off? The man remained silent for a moment, with a look of grievance on his face. This distinguished guest, you must be here for the Sky Temple. At this time, the witch woman opened her eyes and turned to look at Ji Chengge. The white hair that was sleeping soundly in her arms suddenly jumped down and rubbed against Ji Chengge's right leg. A bright light flashed in the witch's eyes, and her tone became much gentler. Mother-in-law is really amazing. I didn't say anything, and you knew my purpose. Ji Chengge nodded, a little afraid to detect the witch's fighting power. After all, she is a Miko, and her profession is too mysterious. If he was discovered, he might not be able to get out today. Okay, it seems that because Xiaobai likes you so much, I'll give you a 50% discount, only 5 billion. 5 billion. Ji Yu Chang'e knew that the witch did not trick him. The news that 5 billion can be exchanged for Sky Temple is not expensive, but he really doesn't have the money. Brother. At this time, the blonde man suddenly came over. I'm also asking for news about the temple. How about we pool money together and explore together? Ji Yu Chang'e thought for a moment and nodded. Okay. Great, I have 1 billion, how many do you have? Well, I only have about 500 million. Mo Qingshe and Mo Shuping gave him a few small goals, plus buying equipment and killing monsters. He now only has 500 million. I thought this was already a lot and I couldn't spend it all. Now it seems that he is really poor. Ah, only 500 million. Why are you so poor? The man couldn't help but say, if he hadn't spent all the money buying equipment and skills before, how could he not even be able to get out a mere 5 billion? Well, if I sell this piece of equipment, I should be able to raise a few 100 million, and you can raise some more. The man took out a pair of boots with level 180 epic quality. Apart from the necessary equipment for those days, this was the only thing he could sell. What a headache. Up to 300 million. The witch didn't even look at it, and then said that an epic piece of equipment really couldn't catch his eye. Can I sell equipment here? Ji Yu Chang'e asked hurriedly. If possible, he still had some good equipment. If you sell it, you should be able to collect 5 billion. Of course you can, but it must at least be of epic quality. If it's too rubbish, the witch won't accept it. The man was crestfallen and had lost confidence. What kind of good equipment can a little guy with only 500 million in his whole body and not even level 4 come up with? Even if it was sold, it would only be worth tens of millions at best. He was ready to give up. 5 billion could not be gathered in a short time, and even if it could be gathered, it would probably not bring any good results. After all, Wu Po Po was the 10th fortune teller he had found, otherwise he would not have been unable to gather even 5 billion. Okay, then I'll sell these equipment. Ji Yu Chang'e thought about it and took out 2 ordinary equipment. No, brother, you are kidding. Seeing these 2 equipment, the blonde man couldn't help laughing. This kind of equipment, which is not even epic, how much can it be worth? He was holding a glimmer of hope, but now he is completely desperate. He was too stupid to think that a kid who was not even a 4th level rank could come up with any powerful equipment. I won't accept anything below epic. Wu Po Po also said. She was not one of those material dealers outside, and she only accepted fine equipment. Po Po, why don't you take a look first? Brother, it's not even epic, what's the use of taking a look? The blonde man said, ready to leave. Okay, let's take a look. Picking up the 2 pieces of equipment, just a moment later, the witch's face suddenly changed. 1 billion each, I'll take both, and give you 2.2 billion. Ha ha ha, did you hear that, only 2.2 billion. The blonde man laughed, but he suddenly turned his head and looked at the witch. What, 2.2 billion? No, what's the situation, this is not a legendary equipment. 2.2 billion, to be honest, at this moment, he even thought that the witch was crazy. Little brother, how about it, if you think it's too low, I can add a little more. The witch ignored him, but looked at Ji Yu Chang'e seriously, as if she was afraid that he would disagree. Ji Yu Chang'e was stunned. He knew that these 2 pieces of equipment must not be cheap. After all, he specially selected them with good hidden attributes, and the quality itself was not low. Okay, I agree. However, 2.2 billion was still beyond his expectations. This price was enough to buy legendary equipment. It seems that after activating the hidden attributes, the value of the equipment is much higher and more precious than he expected. No, let me see, why is this equipment worth 2.2 billion? The blonde man was very unconvinced and immediately began to check the equipment information. Frost blade quality. Diamond usable level. 50 can only be used with Constitution 300 or above. Constitution plus 50. Born in the extremely cold land of frost, it has a freezing effect after use, causing 30 seconds of continuous damage to the enemy. Attribute 1. Continuous damage increased by 300 seconds. Attribute 2. Freezing effect distance *10. Attribute 3. Frozen damage increased by 200%. Star tiers quality. Gold usable level. Level 1. It is said that it is a tear made of star fragments. After use, the magic power is plus 10 and the magic power recovery speed is increased by 10%. Attribute 1. First level magic power asterisk 500%. Attribute 2. First level magic consumption is reduced by 30%. Attribute 3. The probability of double magic when casting is 35%. Isn't this a legendary equipment? Why? The attributes of these two pieces of equipment are too terrifying. Why isn't it of legendary quality? Looking at the two pieces of equipment in front of him, the blond man's eyes widened and he felt unprecedented surprise. Gold and diamond quality equipment are indeed too common for him. After all, the day he first awakened, his family prepared an epic suit for him. It can be said that he usually doesn't read anything below epic poems. But the two pieces of equipment in front of him were completely beyond his understanding. How could such a low quality have such incredible properties? For example, this frost knife has diamond quality and a basic attribute of adding 50 constitution, which is mediocre. Although the freezing effect is rare, it is nothing. There are many weapons like this. 30 seconds of continuous damage is pretty good. But the first additional attribute, the continuous damage, is increased by 300 seconds. This means that as long as the enemy is hit, the enemy will suffer freezing damage that lasts for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. This is a bit too much. The second one is even more outrageous, 10 times the freezing distance, which means that all enemies within a radius of at least 100 meters will be affected by the freezing effect. Isn't this equivalent to a domain? But a domain can only be controlled by level 6 professionals. Even if some equipment can also cause field effects, they are at least of epic or even legendary quality. This is not over yet. The third additional attribute is double freezing damage. Any one of these three attributes is very abnormal. But now, 3 of them appear on one piece of equipment at the same time, and they are still only of diamond quality. This is simply not normal. What is this like? It's obviously just a level 1 fireball spell, but when it's released, it's like a forbidden spell, which is impossible to achieve. It can be said that even if it is only of diamond quality, this knife is rarer and more precious than legendary equipment. 1 billion. This is considered cheap. After all, for truly wealthy people, good equipment is much harder to obtain than money. As for the other piece of equipment, although it is only of gold quality, it is more precious than the frost knife. After all, this can be used at level 1, and with its perverted extra attributes, it's not an exaggeration to say it's an artifact for beginners. This is also in Donghai province. If it were placed in western Sichuan, it would even be the imperial capital. Even if it's 2 billion, people are rushing to buy it. The man took a deep breath, reluctantly returned the equipment, and immediately looked at Ji Yu Changge. Brother. No, buddy, do you still have such equipment? The man put his hand directly on Ji Yu Changge's shoulder and suddenly became very enthusiastic. I charge you whatever you want, and the price will definitely satisfy you. Ahem. Ji Yu Changge silently took 2 steps back and said with a smile. I'm sorry, this is just bad luck and it happened by accident. If I have one in the future, I will definitely sell it to you. Of course Ji Yu Changge would not tell the truth. After all, if he only took out 2 or 3 items, it would still be considered good luck. But if you take out a lot at once, it's not just good luck, it's telling others clearly that I have a big secret, come and tell me. He is not a big fool, how could he do this? Besides, if he really wanted to make money, there were many ways. For example, taking a rich woman like Mo Qingshe through the border is easy and risk-free. It's a pity that there are too few love brains like her. Well, I believe you will have good luck, brother. The man said with a smile, but he didn't think so. To have these 2 good lucks can be regarded as smoke rising from the ancestral graves. If you still want to get such awesome equipment, you think you are the reincarnation of a European god. Innocent. Then Ji Yu Changge took out another 500 million, and the man took out 1 billion, plus a few pieces of equipment, and finally made up almost 4 billion. But there is still 1 billion short of the which is 5 billion, which is a big sum. Are you going to sell another piece of equipment? Forget it, since Xiaobai likes you so much, 4 billion will be 4 billion. Seeing the white cat almost hanging on Ji Yu Chengge's body, the witch's eyes became deeper and she said with a smile. Thank you very much, mother-in-law. Ji Yu Chang'e said, saving 1 billion is a good thing. Okay, just wait a moment. After that, the witch left first, and the white cat disappeared without knowing when. Friend, I want to thank you even more this time. If it weren't for you, I would have left empty-handed. The witch said it was 4 billion, but it has nothing to do with me. I'll still calculate it as 5 billion. The blonde man said as he took out a scroll. If the two of us work together, we can get 2.5 billion per person. Including the money for equipment, I spent a total of 1.3 billion, which is a shortfall of 1.2 billion. This is an IOU worth 1.2 billion. Don't worry, I'll give it to you right away when I get back. After saying that, he directly handed the scroll to Ji Yu Chang'e. This is a blank scroll that can be used as an IOU. If you don't pay it back, you can go directly to the 9th level Guild Magician Association and someone will help him claim the debt. This is the business of the Magicians Association. So far, no one has dared not to give the Magicians Association face and blatantly default on their debts. Therefore, this blank scroll produced by the Magician Association is very popular. Thank you very much. Ji Yu Chang'e took the scroll and nodded, feeling a little more favorable to this person in his heart. Looking at him like this, he must be a disciple of a big family, but he is not at all arrogant and instead takes the initiative to give me the IOU. This is something that many disciples from wealthy families can't do, and it's worth dating for a while. Hello, my name is Jin Kaishuan, from the Jin family in Western Sichuan, and a professional 5th level warrior. Ji Yu Chang'e, Qingshan City, Donghai Province, a 3rd level professional. San people, brother Ji Yu, are you kidding me? Jin Kaishuan looked unbelieving, but before he could say anything, the witch's voice came out. Come in, the divination ceremony can begin. 2 little guys, let me say yes first. In the divination cabin, the witch floated in front of a black ball that was larger than her, with a very serious expression. The lost temple in the sky, old lady, I have divined many times, but none of them have been successful so far. So I advise you not to have high hopes. After all, if it could succeed, I would have gone by myself. She couldn't help but smile, and it was true. If divination is really a good thing, why is she telling others? That's not a big fool. By the way, there is no refund if you fail. Let me ask you one last time, are you sure you want to do divination? Sure, Ji Yu Chang'e and Jin Kaishuan said at the same time that they both had reasons to go. Okay, you go first, Golden Retriever. Although he was dissatisfied with being called a Golden Retriever, Jin Kaishuan still put his hand on the ball very cooperatively. Great Witch God, please guide these stupid guys to find the Sky Temple. The witch recited a spell that others could not understand at all, and a mysterious breath penetrated into Jin Kaishuan's body from the ball. Of course, he didn't know all this. Soon, more than 10 seconds passed, but the crystal ball showed no reaction. Okay, it really failed. No need for the witch to say anything, Jin Kaishuan shook his head in disappointment. He had already found many people and had already expected this result, but he still held on to the last bit of luck in his heart. Brother Ji Yu, come on, he said to Ji Yu Chang'e with a smile, but he had no intention of defaulting on the bill. It's just over 1 billion, so let's just say it's nothing. Besides, what if this little brother succeeds? Even though he knew it was impossible. Based on the experience of many failures, he knew that there was actually little relationship between the results of divination and the object of divination. The witch woman asked both of them to try it, which was just to comfort her. Besides, he is a member of the Jin family in Western Sichuan, and he is also a top genius in the 2nd rank of the academy. He has failed. If this little brother from Donghai province succeeds, wouldn't he be even more powerful than him? How can this be? Ji Yu Chang'e didn't waste any time and put his hand directly on the crystal ball. To be honest, he was a little nervous. After all, this was related to his job transfer mission. If you cannot transfer 4 times before the start of the academy, then you will be in trouble if your strength is not enough and you fail the assessment. Even if he is very confident in his own strength. If it really doesn't work, I can only ask teacher Su for help. Su Meng, the 7th level Valkyrie, would definitely be better than him if she wanted to find out about the Sky Temple. Of course, this is also a last resort. More than 10 seconds passed, but a hazy layer of fog suddenly appeared on the surface of the crystal ball. This is. The dejected Jin Kaishuan suddenly regained his energy. What does this mean? The witch woman did not respond, but stared at the mist seriously. After a long time, she raised her head and looked at Ji Yu Chang'e. Little guy, you're so lucky, you succeeded. What? Success. Jin Kaishuan walked forward directly, feeling very excited. Where? Mo Yuan Wuyin Mountain. Thank you, witch, let's go first. After getting the news he wanted, Jin Kaishuan immediately grabbed Ji Yu Chang'e and left the witch hut directly. Apart from this location, the crystal ball had no other information, but they were quite satisfied. Especially Jin Kaishuan. After searching for several months, he finally got something. After the two left, the white cat that had disappeared for some time appeared in front of the witch again. She gently stroked the white cat's head and looked thoughtfully at the crystal ball, where Ji Yu Chang'e's appearance appeared. It actually worked. This little guy is so lucky. The Sky Temple is indeed very tempting, but unfortunately I don't dare to go, old lady. To be honest, the moment she learned the information, she did think about taking it for herself. But after seeing Ji Yu Chang'e, she finally gave up. Xiaobai is not an ordinary white cat, but the spirit of his own divination profession. It is only close to one kind of person, and that is good luck. And Ji Yu Chang'e is the closest person to Xiaobai over the years, not even one person. This kind of person is what they call the destiny protagonist. If it were other people, they might sneer at such words. But for these witches who rely on heaven for their livelihood, they have great faith in fate. So even though the temptation of the Sky Temple was right in front of her, she decisively gave up. The protagonist is destined to die, whoever offends him will die. Brother Ji Yu, Wuyin Mountain is in Miyuan province. It's still a little far away from here. Come up and I'll take you there as soon as possible. Jin Kaishuan rode a 3-meter-long golden lion with extraordinary momentum and said to Ji Yu Chang'e. As a member of the Jin family in western Sichuan, almost everyone will get a lion pet when they are born. The one under him has been playing with him since childhood. It is now a level 256 monster, much stronger than the average 5th level professional. In addition to combat power, Golden Lion's speed is unparalleled, otherwise he would not have been able to travel to so many places in a few months. Thank you, but I have a carriage. Ji Yu Chang'e smiled slightly and of course refused. Are you kidding? He would definitely like it if it was a woman. But this guy is almost 2 meters tall, and his back is as big as a lion. It is inevitable that the two of them will collide when they sit together. What to do if there is a spark for the first time? Will he get involved or not? You must know that this world is much more open than in the previous life. Carriage. Jin Kaishuan's eyebrows knitted together tightly. Although he didn't say anything, his expression clearly showed that he was speechless. What age is it and why do people still use horse-drawn carriages? Isn't this a dilapidated transport tool only used by first and second level professionals? It's bulky and ugly. No way. Is Brother Ji Yu already so poor? In fact, he is the poor boy in the dirt. At this time, a burst of black mist flickered, and 3 ghost war horses and a rock carriage suddenly appeared in front of the two people. Netherworld war horse. Brother Ji Yu. No, I call you eldest brother. In the carriage, Jin Kaishuan looked at the 3 nether war horses in front of him eagerly, and his mouth was almost drooling. Please, just sell me one, please. He directly hugged Ji Yu Chang'e's thigh, his eyes suddenly became very ambiguous. 1 billion, no, 2 billion, please sell me one. Looking at the changing scenes around him, he felt like he was going crazy. This speed is really outrageous, not even my own golden lion can match it. And now he can see that the 3 in front of him are rare mutated ghost war horses. This is unbelievable. Although this thing is not very powerful, it is really handsome and fast. When he first awakened a few years ago, he wanted to get another war horse, but he still hasn't gotten it yet. This shows how rare and popular the nether war horse is, but now there are 3 mutated nether war horses in front of him. For a moment, facing Ji Yu Chang'e, he felt that he was a bumpkin. Brother Ji Yu, please, sell me one. I want one. He continued to say to Ji Yu Chang'e, this thing is so handsome. If you ride it in the academy, it will definitely be cool. Faced with Jin Kaixuan's request, Ji Yu Chengde refused without any hesitation. Of course he wants money. But handsomeness is a lifelong thing, how can such a cool mount make others show off? Along the way, Jin Kaixuan's eyes almost never moved from the Netherworld war horse. Unfortunately, no matter how tempted he was, Ji Yu Chengde always refused. He had no choice but to look at the horse and sigh, feeling very sad. 2 days later, the ghost carriage took Ji Yu Chengde and Jin Kaixuan outside a mountain wrapped in mist. It's really fast. At least it saves a day. Looking at the Netherworld carriage, Jin Kaixuan liked it more and more. Even riding a golden lion would have taken at least 3 days, but the Netherworld carriage only took 2 days. Unfortunately, the most painful thing is that you finally meet a woman you really like, but she has a husband. What's even more painful is that her husband is not dead, and he is still very strong in taking advantage of her. He is almost in this situation now, so he is really distressed. This is Kurigakure Mountain. Looking at the mountains in front of him, Ji Yu Chengde was very cautious. Wuyin Mountain is located in the southeast of Wuyu Mayuan Province and is next to Donghai Province. If Donghai Province is remote, then Mayuan Province is both remote and weird. There are dangerous areas everywhere, the most famous of which is the Devil's Abyss in the middle of Mayuan Province. About 100 years ago, an abyssal crack appeared in Mayuan Province, and tens of billions of abyssal demons descended. Although they were finally defeated, Mayuan Province became extremely strange after that. Very few people lived here, not even a few cities. But this place has also become a place for monster killing and adventure. So much so that there is a saying, do you want to upgrade? Want to become stronger? Want to get the treasure of the gods? Then go to Mayuan Province. Of course, Mayuan Province is much more dangerous than the ordinary wilderness. There are very few people who dare to take risks here, and even fewer who can leave alive. However, Wuyin Mountain is only the border of Mayuan Province. In addition to being shrouded in fog all year round and containing some powerful monsters, it can be regarded as one of the least dangerous places in Mayuan Province. Okay, brother Ji Yu, let's go in. Mei Bingbing is still waiting for us inside. Jin Kaixuan said with a smile that he even called for a helper this time. Good. After putting away the Netherworld carriage, the two walked into the mist and quickly disappeared. This fog is really weird. The detection skills are useless. In the mist, the two walked very close, because once they were more than 10 meters away, they couldn't feel each other. This is because Jin Kaixuan specially prepared special props, otherwise they would not be able to see anything at most 5 meters away. This is the second strange place in Kurigakure Mountain. There are so many mists that you can get lost accidentally. And here, getting lost often means death. Brother Ji Yu, be careful and be sure to follow me. I will protect you. Jin Kaixuan was very serious and did not abandon Ji Yu Chengde just because he was weak. After all, the two agreed to work together, and brother Ji Yu paid half of the money, so no matter what happened, he would definitely bring him safely to the Sky Temple. He has always been like this. Good. Ji Yu Chengde nodded, always paying attention to his surroundings. Whoosh. Careful. At this moment, a subtle voice suddenly appeared beside him. Ji Yu Chengde reminded him, and then his head flashed to the side. Boom. The cyan light arrow easily penetrated the 1-meter-thick tree next to it, and its huge destructive power was astonishing. The one who stepped on my mother is a hunter. Brother Ji Yu, just wait here. I'll come as soon as I can. Golden light suddenly erupted from the surface of Jin Kaixuan's body, and then disappeared into the mist. Everything in front of him was instantly destroyed. This is the power of a 5th-level warrior, and this Jin Kaixuan is no ordinary warrior. Soon, only Ji Yu Chengde was left around, and the fog seemed to become thicker. Whoosh! Another light arrow struck, but Ji Yu Chengde didn't panic and easily dodged it by turning sideways. Boom! The light arrow hit the ground and made a big crater. This power should be that of a level 4 hunter. As expected of the dangerous Mayuan province, a 4th-level professional who was already a top expert in Qingshan City was easily encountered here. Boy, it's good to be agile. He must be an assassin. At this time, a middle-aged man with a beard walked directly to Ji Yu Chengde holding a bow and arrow. You can dodge my bow and arrow. It seems that you have added all your attribute points to agility. As the man spoke, He took out a long gun with a confident smile on his face. Although he is a hunter, those who are familiar with him know that a real hunter is not only powerful with bows and arrows, but also with melee combat and the physical body. It can be said that even warriors of the same level may not be as powerful as hunters. Hand over the nether war horse, I will spare your life, hurry up. Although he was confident that he could easily kill this weak assassin, the experienced hunter did not relax his vigilance. That's probably not possible. Ji Yu Chengge shook his head, said nothing, and quickly took out a long knife. Whirlwind. It's ridiculous, you little assassin, you dare to get close to me, who gave you the courage? In that case, let me teach you the first lesson of a true professional. With a spear like a dragon, the hunter leapt high and headed towards Ji Yu Chengge's head with incredible power. He was a level 143 hunter, and he was dealing with a little assassin who was only at level 3 and was obviously still a fledgling. It's totally within reach. Then, there was a 100-meter-long knife in front of him. What the hell? In the mist, with a cry, a 100-meter-long sword fell from the sky. The next moment, a 100-meter ravine appeared in front of Ji Yu Chengge, surrounded by a mess, not even a big tree was missing. A 100-meter-long sword, so terrifying. He doesn't even have 1/10 of his full power. How can he kill a chicken with a bull's knife? At this time, the hunter who didn't even have a name was already gone. Ding dong, congratulations on getting the hunter's longbow. Ding dong, congratulations on getting the purple gold boots. ... Looking at the pile of equipment exploded, Ji Yu Chengge locked his eyes on the bow and arrow. Most of the other equipment is of gold quality, but this bow and arrow are of diamond quality, and it is also his most valuable equipment. Hunter longbow. Quality: diamond. Usable level: 95. Description: why doesn't a hunter have a suitable bow and arrow? Pick up this long bow and shoot it into the enemy's ass. After equipped, strength plus 135, agility plus 73, accuracy plus 15%, condensed light arrow hits the target to gain penetration effect, light arrow speed plus 10%. As expected of diamond quality, the attributes of this bow are quite good. Needless to say about the basic attributes, the others can not only increase accuracy, but also increase bow and arrow speed, and even have penetration effects. This is what Ji Yu Chengge saw just now. The lightsaber directly penetrated the big tree. If it hits the enemy, it can easily penetrate the body as long as the defense is not particularly abnormal. This is the terrifying thing about the penetration effect, especially when paired with a bow and arrow, it is simply a murderous weapon. Not bad. Looking at the bow and arrow in his hand, Ji Yu Chengge nodded with satisfaction. With diamond quality and excellent attributes, the value of this bow is even comparable to that of ordinary epic equipment. After all, epic equipment is very rare. Even though he is wearing a legendary set, this is just an exception. For most professionals, having a golden suit is a great achievement. Not everyone is like him and has cheats. Legendary equipment naturally exists in legends and almost no one can get it. Otherwise, why would it be named this way? Without thinking too much, Ji Yu Chengge started activating the hidden attributes as before. Enlightenment of all things. Ding dong, the hidden attribute of the hunter longbow has been successfully activated. Hidden attribute 1. The number of light arrows that can be condensed at the same time plus 4. Hidden attribute 2. The light arrow can lock on the target, and the accuracy is increased by 50%. Hidden attribute 3. Light arrow flight distance and wisdom attribute point length 5 meters 1 wisdom. The 3 hidden attributes may seem ordinary, but they have completely changed this bow. First, after increasing the number, he can condense 5 light arrows at the same time, which is simply 5 arrows per arrow. Now, even if he was besieged, he was not afraid at all. He can even surround a full squad by himself. The second attribute is even more perverted: what is most important to an archer? That is of course accuracy. The more accurate the shot, the more scared the enemy will be. Ji Yu Chengge had never trained in archery before, so it was not easy for him to become an archery master all of a sudden. But now this is no longer a problem. Automatically locks on the target. Isn't this the lock in his previous life? Hit wherever you point and it will appear in seconds. Of course, this method may not be of much use to the top masters, but how many such strong men are there? To ordinary people, this is really like cheating. Besides, what about the truly strong ones? At worst, tens of thousands of fireballs wash the ground, and the 3 hellgates of the demonic dragon cult lead a human life. As for the last attribute, it is the pervert who steps on the horse to open the door for the pervert. The pervert is here. Under normal circumstances, the greater the strength, the farther the light arrow will go. But because of the second attribute, he can control the light arrow to lock on the enemy, but it will definitely not work if the distance is too far. Generally speaking, 400 to 500 meters is already very high. But this is good, the light arrow control distance is directly linked to the wisdom attribute point. 1 wisdom point and 5 meters, he is now nearly 7,000 wisdom. In other words, within a radius of almost 4 kilometers, his light arrows can go wherever they want, and the enemy cannot escape at all. How can the enemy hide from this? For a moment, he couldn't help but feel itchy and wanted to shoot a few arrows with a long bow. Hurry up and get some enemies. He really wants to see how the 3 hidden attribute hunter longbows are used. Brother GU, are you okay? I'm back. At this time, a golden light fell from the sky and hit the ground heavily. Jin Kaishuan's clothes were stained with a few drops of blood, which naturally belonged to others. I'm so sorry. A thief lured me away. Are you okay? Where is the hunter? Lucky kill, Ji Chengge said lightly, while Jin Kaishuan looked at the mess around him and his eyelids couldn't help but twitch. Is this a lucky kill? It seems that this little brother is also very powerful. Of course, because of the fog, he could only see the scene within a dozen meters nearby. If he saw that 100 meters in front of him were reduced to rubble, he might not be able to calm down. That's good. Brother GU is not too worried. They are just little thieves. As long as they dare to come, I will send them to the west. As he spoke, he exuded a powerful aura, and his level was also revealed. The 5th level is 243, and he is a warrior of a special profession. With such strength, he is considered a strong person no matter where he is. As for the hunter just now, Ji Chengge guessed that he should be a thief from the hidden mist mountain. This kind of thing is not uncommon. There are not only wild monsters in the wild, but also other professionals who kill people and steal goods. In today's world, it is so rare and common that no one will care about it. As the God of Wisdom said 100 years ago, this is the best of times and the worst of times. It's okay, but I'm a little curious. They seem to be able to see clearly everything in the fog in the distance. Why is this? Ji Chengge asked. If the hunter couldn't see him clearly, he would never be so accurate. It's like this. In the hidden mist mountain, there is a mist beast that can see clearly in the distance if its heart blood is rubbed on the eyes. But it has to be fresh, and we only have 8 hours, so we can only kill now. Jin Kaishuan explained that he had not discovered the fog beast until now. This kind of monster is really hard to find, and I don't know if they can encounter it. Mist beast, is that what you're talking about? Mist beast. Is this what you're talking about? Ji Chengge pointed at some strange translucent corpses on the ground in front of him and asked. These were all accidentally affected by his 100-meter-long sword. The system killed the fog beast with one sound, but because he had no explosive equipment, he didn't care. He only remembered what Jin Kaishuan said. Yeah. Jin Kaishuan walked forward. After seeing the corpses of the 2 fog beasts on the ground, he was very excited but also curious. Just like its name, the mist beast was born in the fog and has no attack power, but it can lure professionals to get lost in the hidden mist mountain. The key is that this thing is very difficult to find. Even if it is nearby, it is difficult to find. But why are there 2 corpses of fog beasts on the ground now? Did he kill him? After looking at Ji Chengge, who was unusually calm, Jin Kaishuan quickly gave up the idea. He doesn't even know what a fog beast is, let alone discovering a fog beast. Besides, in the short time just now, even he couldn't kill 2 fog beasts so quickly. Is it possible that Ji Chengge can still be faster than him? I'll come and put it on my forehead. He walked forward, carefully took out the heart blood, and handed a copy to Ji Chengge. He took out a drop of blood and placed it between his eyebrows. A warm feeling came and the blood disappeared immediately. Ding dong, congratulations on getting the temporary buff effect of the fog beast's guidance. the perception within 500 meters is not affected by the fog within 8 hours. The next moment, he felt a chill coming from his eyes, and the surrounding fog seemed to disappear for the most part, and he could see the distant scene clearly. Unfortunately, this thing has limitations, it only lasts for 8 hours, and it is only effective within 500 meters. If there is no cover in front of them, ordinary people can see hundreds of meters or even kilometers away. Not to mention professionals, with the blessing of attributes, they can even clearly see everything thousands of meters away. Therefore, even with the guidance of temporarily buffing the fog beast, the combat effectiveness of professionals will still be affected. Enlightenment of all things. Ding dong, the guidance of the mist beast successfully activated the hidden attribute. Hidden attribute 1. The gain time is permanent. Hidden attribute 2. Gain range 10. Hidden attribute 3. Gain effect plus 300%. In an instant, Ji Chengge felt that the surrounding scene changed drastically again, and all the fog disappeared, without any impact on him. He even felt that he could see more clearly than before. It was no different from outside Kurigakure Mountain. The critical time has also become permanent, which is really strong. After all, the original blood of the fog beast can only last for 8 hours, and it cannot be superimposed. It can only be used again after the effect disappears, and it must be the freshest blood. But now, Ji Chengge doesn't need anything anymore. Now combined with the hunter's longbow, he felt that he was completely a bug-level existence in the hidden mist mountain. Brother Ji, look. At this time, Jin Kaishuan suddenly shouted loudly. He stared dumbfoundedly at the 100-meter-long trench in front of him, and hurriedly grabbed Ji Chengge. What the hell is this? Brother Ji, there is a ghost. Based on my experience, this was caused just now. There must be some powerful monster or super strong person appearing. After saying that, Jin Kaishuan looked around more cautiously. Brother Ji, let's leave quickly. Don't worry, I will definitely protect you. I didn't expect such a terrifying monster to suddenly appear in Kurigakure Mountain. Well, Ji Chengge's forehead was filled with black lines. Actually, this is what I did. Haha, it's already here, let's stop joking. Jin Kaishuan looked unbelieving. Although he didn't know what kind of profession Ji Chengge was, he was only a level 103rd level professional. Such horrific damage must be done to at least a 5th level professional. Ji Chengge shrugged helplessly and did not explain further. Anyway, he told the truth, so forget it if you don't believe it. The two of them continued walking towards the depths of Kurigakure Mountain, and on the way they met the accomplice of the previous hunter. They are a group of bandits who specialize in killing and stealing from professionals who come to Hidden Mountain. They are basically rank 4, and there are even a few rank 5 warriors. Unfortunately, they encountered 2 evil stars. With the guidance of the mist beast, Jin Kaishuan beat them all by himself without Ji Chengge taking action. The leading bandit king, a 5th level spear warrior, cursed angrily, and was beaten back by Jin Kaishuan, spurting out a mouthful of old blood. The idea is tough, please ask someone to come with me. The 2 rank 5 professionals who were watching the battle had their expressions condensed. They stopped watching the show and immediately rushed towards Jin Kaishuan. Ji Chengge smiled slightly, the long bow in his hand flashed with green light, and he said very confidently. Haha, if you want to besiege them, you don't take me, the Hunter King, seriously. Whoosh, the cyan light arrow arrived instantly and appeared directly in front of the head of one of the 5th level assassins. HMPH, it's a little trick, it's ridiculous. He flashed and appeared dozens of meters away. Stupid guy, let me send you to the west first. Turning to look at Ji Chengge, a mocking smile appeared on his face. Whoosh, then the cyan light arrow penetrated his head from behind, so fast that no blood even flowed out. What? The expression on the remaining person's face changed drastically. How come you can't turn a corner? He had just witnessed everything with his own eyes. Lao San had clearly dodged the light arrow, but he didn't expect that the light arrow would turn around and kill him instantly. What's going on? For a moment, he felt the cold air passing from the soles of his feet to the back of his head. A bow and arrow that can bend, this is too scary. Whoosh. Then, the next moment, he saw a bloody light arrow appearing in front of him. This light arrow seems to have come out of my head, right? What happened? Bang. Following a dull sound, a powerful figure fell straight to the ground. Second boss. When the other bandits saw this scene, their eyes widened with disbelief on their faces. The second and third masters are both rank 5 bosses, and when they meet other professionals, they usually crush them. But why was he defeated today? A few seconds, 2 arrows, and no resistance. You can't even act so fast when riding a horse. After experiencing a brief moment of anger, everyone's eyes suddenly turned extremely horrified when they looked at Ji Yu Chang'e. This man is so strong. Brothers, don't be afraid, he is just a hunter, come together and kill him. At this time, the bandit king, who was being unilaterally beaten by Jin Kaishuan, said hurriedly. At this time, he was panicking to death. He thought that this little kid was a soft persimmon and could be killed by any of his subordinates. I didn't expect this guy to be so tough. 2 of his generals were defeated in 10 seconds. If he were to attack him, he would definitely be doomed. Therefore, these cannon fodder must be made to take action now, and he will find another opportunity to escape. Yes, the boss is right. There are so many of us, and as a hunter, he can only shoot 1 at most. Let's go. Yes, everyone, hurry up, he can only shoot once, I don't believe he will kill us all. The fear in the eyes of dozens of bandits suddenly disappeared, and each one spoke more awesomely than the last. However, after talking for a long time, no one really came forward. Okay, if you don't take action, it will be my turn. Ji Yu Chang'e smiled slightly, and 5 light arrows appeared on the ordinary long bow. You don't have martial ethics. 5. Run. In an instant, dozens of people all turned around and ran away. The criterion for judging whether a bandit is qualified is never how strong he is, but whether he can run fast. Obviously, they all qualified. But in front of the super hunter King Ji Yu Chang'e, it is almost useless. When you come out to hang out, you must be mentally prepared to be reincarnated early. Whoosh! 5 light arrows arrived in an instant and penetrated 5 people easily. Call. Seeing this scene, the other people who escaped subconsciously breathed a sigh of relief. Death is like the wind, always accompanying me, but fortunately it is not them. Since 5 people have been killed, they should not die immediately. Then the next moment, their eyes widened. After 5 light arrows penetrated the 5 people, they did not disappear, but turned around and shot towards the others. Ah, you can still play like this. Help, I haven't played with a woman yet, I don't want to die. The light arrow shuttled through the crowd very nimbly, vaguely seeming to think of very touching music, and everyone fell down one by one. In less than a few seconds, all the dozens of bandits were killed, and no one was left. Call out. The whistle sounded, and the 5 light arrows seemed to be alive. They all flew behind Ji Yu Chang'e and lined up neatly in a row. So handsome. Jin Kaishuan stared at Ji Yu Chang'e with stars in his eyes, and his saliva almost flowed out. How can this guy be so handsome? He never dared to dream that fighting could be so cool and unrestrained. Ji Yu Chang'e had a cold face, but the corners of his mouth turned up involuntarily. At this time, Jin Kaishuan turned around and realized that the bandit king in front of him had disappeared. Only 100 meters away, the bandit king was covered in black light and was about to rush into the fog. Stop! With an angry roar, Jin Kaishuan became anxious. Now he could only clearly see the scene within a range of 500 meters. If he let the guy escape into the fog, he would not be able to find it. Idiot! The bandit king cursed angrily and looked at the mist that was so close, with an excited smile on his face. As long as he is allowed to run away, with his understanding of Kurigakure Mountain, he will definitely trick these 2 guys to death. Bang! However, the next moment, he felt as if he had hit something, and his whole body was bounced back. What? He raised his head and saw an ice wall in front of him. And above the ice wall, stood a woman with a frosty face and a blue robe. She waved her hand, and hundreds of ice picks several meters long fell from the sky and hit the bandit king. Why is there still a girl? But it's not that simple to kill me. The bandit king gritted his teeth and tore a scroll into pieces, and the space door appeared in front of him. Goodbye, I will definitely come back. With a proud smile, the bandit king walked into the space gate. Because it is the most common teleportation scroll, the space gate does not disappear, but the scene of the bandit king at this time emerges. I saw him instantly appear in the distance through the space door. Although he was embarrassed, he was very arrogant. Ha 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 ha, I might as well tell you that I am only 3,000 meters away from you. If you have the ability, come and catch me. After squeaking at the space door for a while, he extended his middle finger. Jin Kaixuan's face turned red with anger, but there was nothing he could do. 3,000 meters must not be far away, he would usually be there in 10 seconds. But there is fog everywhere here. If you accidentally get lost, it is really impossible to catch up after 3,000 meters. Ah, I'm so angry. Brother Ji, shoot him to death. Okay. Ji Chang'e gestured okay with his right hand, and the light arrow behind him disappeared at some point. Ha 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 ha, I'm laughing so hard, why don't you come? Come on, come on. If you have the ability, shoot me to death right now. If you are so awesome, of course I will recognize you as my father. The Bandit King is even more arrogant. In fact, he could close the portal immediately, but he doesn't. He just likes to see other people trying to him but not being able to do it to death. Whoosh! What sound? A small voice rang in his ears, and the Bandit King felt a pain in his head, as if he had been bitten by a mosquito. What happened? Why did that little brat's light arrow hit my face? Chapter 51. Whoosh! The light arrow penetrated the Bandit King's head, and he was stunned for a moment. A few seconds later, he knelt down with a bang. There was darkness before his eyes, and decades of memories flashed rapidly in his mind like a marquee, finally settling on the last scene of his life. If you can, shoot me to death right now. At this time, his consciousness finally completely dissipated. Brother Ji, I'm just saying it, you mean it. Along with the death of the Bandit King, the space gate in the distance also disappeared. Jin Kaixuan turned to look at Ji Chang'e, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help but twitch. Oh my gosh, he was so angry just now that he casually told Ji Chang'e to kill the Bandit King. But he never thought that Ji Chang'e actually killed the Bandit King. No dude, I'm joking, do you mean it? The outrageous scene just now was constantly replayed in his mind. Jin Kaixuan forced himself to calm down, but he couldn't do it. Light arrows can kill enemies 3,000 meters away. Isn't this great? If Ji Chang'e knew what he was thinking, he would definitely say it. What words? He has never turned it off, so how can it be said that it is turned on? Regardless of what Jin Kaixuan thought, at this moment, a woman from a distance came through the air. There was ice under her feet without taking a step. She looked really cool. Haha, little sister Bingbing, you are here. Seeing the cold and charming woman, Jin Kaixuan stepped forward with a smile on his face, acting very familiar. Bang! However, the next moment, an ice pick was inserted into the ground in front of him, and the ice was overwhelming. Roll, the woman said coldly, if you call me Bingbing again, I will kill you. Hearing this, Ji Chang'e couldn't help being surprised, and carefully looked away from the alluring white snow. What a fierce woman. Ahem, brother Ji, you were so handsome just now. Jin Kaixuan was not embarrassed. After all, his face was one of the best in the academy. Let me introduce to you, this is Mei Bingbing from the Theological Academy. Seemingly noticing the cold gaze, he immediately changed his tune. No, it's so cold every day. I've even forgotten her name. It's Mei Qiluo. She is a second-level genius in the Theological Academies. Why don't you call her sister Mei quickly and hug her from now on? Seeing that Ji Chang'e didn't respond, he said hurriedly. HMPH, you must still not understand what the second sequence of the gods represents. After all, you can't understand a genius of this level. Ji Chang'e nodded, thinking about the fat man's words. He didn't know much about the college, but he also knew that most of the students there were divided into freshmen to seniors, and some were even fifth-year students. But in the second sequence, this was the first time he had heard of such a title. By the way, I almost forgot to tell you that I am also a second sequence genius. At this time, Jin Kaixuan raised his head with a proud smile on his face, as if waiting for Ji Chang'e to praise him. Ah, Ji Chang'e was stunned, and Jin Kaixuan suddenly became anxious. Hey, brother Ji, what do you mean? Ahem, it's nothing, it's very strong. Wow, you are amazing. For some reason, even though he was praising himself, he couldn't be happy at all when he saw Ji Yu Chenggi's appearance. Not a buddy, let alone the second rank. When others heard that he was from a seminary, they all admired him. That flattering little talk is a trick within a trick. Many beauties even expressly hinted that after learning that he had entered the gods, the goddess he had been secretly in love with for several years even took the initiative to let him see an unknown scene. All I can say is, what a contrast. He didn't expect Ji Yu Chengge to show him enthusiasm, at least give him a warm reaction, so that it would look like he was really inferior. I was about to say something, but the scene of Ji Yu Chengge's light arrows easily killing all the bandits and the bandit king 3,000 meters away suddenly appeared in my mind. Well, because of his good background and his own strength, although this guy behaved very abnormally, he just thought he was very powerful and didn't think too much about it. But now that I think about it carefully, this guy seems to be no worse than him. Looking at the overly young face in front of him, he subconsciously asked, "How long have you been awake?" Although they all awaken at the age of 16, the awakening ceremony is held at different times in different places. This kid looks young, but it will take at least a year to reach level 100, plus this terrifying strength. He guessed that this kid should have been awakened for 1 to 2 years. A month. 1 year. All go, you're pretty awesome. You have reached level 100 in 1 year, and you are still so strong. There must be a master to help you level up. But he is quite strong, and his talent is just a little bit worse than mine. As he spoke, Jin Kaixuan suddenly felt something was wrong. What did you say? A month? Jin Kaixuan's eyes widened, almost thinking he heard wrongly. 1 month, level 100, instantly killed the bandit king, a 5th level professional, even though the opponent was exhausted by him. But to think that to do this, you must have at least the strength of rank 4. Brother Ji Yu, are you sure you're not joking? What do you think? Ji Yu Chengge's answer made Jin Kaixuan silent. Even if his family members took him to level up a month after he woke up, he seemed to be only at level 50, and he hadn't even completed 3 levels. Compared with this guy, he suddenly felt like he was living like a pig. Suddenly, he glanced at the expressionless Mei Qiluo next to him, and then quietly leaned into Ji Yu Chengge's ear. Brother Ji Yu, do you want a wife or not? What, your sister? Ji Yu Chengge looked at Mei Qiluo in shock, and then looked at Jin Kaixuan seriously. To be honest, he wanted to take a closer look at Mei Qiluo, after all, it was really eye-catching. Ahem, it's just for show. Jin Kaixuan smiled, knowing that he was not like Mei Qiluo. Just in terms of personality, there is a huge difference. Anyway, I'm just asking you, what do you mean by what I just said? It's boring, Ji Yu Chengge said lightly. What? No, buddy, my sister is so beautiful, you don't want her. Jin Kaixuan was almost stupid. Although his cousin had a bad temper and was cold, her talent and appearance were top-notch. Ever since she was little, there has been so many people chasing her. He just said that, and this kid actually refused. If it were anyone else, he would have told him to get lost long ago. But this kid's talent is truly monstrous, and he might be able to become the first rank in the academy. It would be great if I could be with a girl like myself. I like soft ones, but I don't like hard ones because they are difficult to chew. Ji Yu Chengge said lightly. Mei Qiluo looked like a frost goddess at first glance. If you chase it, you will definitely have to suffer a lot and have to lick it all the time. If he had had this opportunity in his previous life, he would definitely lick it and become a wolf licker. But now he is so awesome, he even licks women's hair. There's something wrong with him, he's not a pervert. Even if you are looking for someone, you must be looking for a cute girl who is obedient, enthusiastic, and cute. It's better to give the frost goddess to someone else. He just wants to taste the sweetness of love and doesn't want to suffer. No, buddy, please listen to my explanation. In fact, my sister is cold on the outside and hot on the inside. Sometimes she is very gentle and soft. If you have a chance, you can try touching her. Ji Yu Chengge looked helpless. Do you believe this? Ahem, is there a possibility? I'm only 16 and I'm not in a hurry to get a wife. After saying that, he looked behind Jin Kaixuan with a smile. But I suggest you solve this problem first. What is the problem? Before he finished speaking, Jin Kaixuan let out a scream. 10 minutes later, he looked at Ji Yu Chang'e with a grieved expression. My sister is superficial, so I can't beat her. But he suddenly realized that he was indeed a little nervous. It was the first time they met, and he actually asked Ji Yu Chang'e if he wanted a wife. There will be plenty of opportunities in the future, so why is he anxious? Besides, since his sister is so beautiful, he doesn't believe that Ji Yu Chang'e is not attracted to her. Later, the three of them, led by Ji Yu Chang'e, arrived at the bandit king's place. Looking at the corpses and numerous glowing equipment on the ground, Jin Kaixuan was once again shocked. Killing a 5th-level warrior 3,000 meters away with a light arrow is outrageous even outside, let alone in the misty Kurigakure mountain. This guy is really awesome. Mei Qiluo, who had been silent all this time, couldn't help but glance at Ji Yu Chang'e. This hunter was indeed very powerful. Ding dong, congratulations on getting the Forbidden Ring, gold. Ding dong, congratulations on getting a special item, the token of the Sky Temple. ... After picking up all the equipment on the ground, Ji Yu Chang'e finally focused his attention on the inconspicuous item in his hand. This is a palm-sized small model that looks like an island, with a densely packed palace sitting on it, and the surface is shrouded in a layer of mist. Although it is small, it is not rough at all and looks particularly delicate. You can even see a small waterfall with flowing water. To be honest, the first time he saw this thing, he thought of the figure. If this thing were placed in the previous life, it would definitely be a priceless treasure. The token of the Sky Temple, the mysterious key used to open the Sky Temple. It is said that there is a secret hidden in it that the Sky God is not aware of. The information on this item was probably the simplest he had ever seen, but it was quite shocking. Even Ji Yu Chang'e was surprised. Do you now have the key to the Sky Temple? It's too simple. Well, he can only say that the talent of Invincible Lucky Star is really YYDS. In the hands of the Bandit King, it was just ordinary, but in his hand, he suddenly found that it was the key to the Sky Temple. If you want to say that this talent of Invincible Lucky Star doesn't matter, he won't believe it. The key was found. As soon as Ji Yu Chang'e finished speaking, the two people's eyes instantly focused on each other. Can you find the Sky Temple with this? Jin Kaixuan stared at the token in Ji Yu Chang'e's hand. If he could really find that thing, his strength would greatly increase. 6th rotation or even the first sequence is not impossible. Mei Qiluo on the side was not so nervous. After all, he was only here to help Jin Kaixuan this time. Well, get ready. Then the three of them checked again and found that it was the Lost Sky Temple after all. No matter how confident they are in their own strength, they don't dare to be careless when it comes to matters involving gods. Okay, I'm starting. Throwing the token up, the next moment the island was floating in the air and began to grow rapidly. More than 10 seconds passed, and nearly 1,000 meters in the sky, a small island covering the sky was emitting a faint fluorescent light. Fortunately, this was in Kurigakure Mountain, and the mysterious fog obscured the island, otherwise it would have been seen by others. But the strange thing is that Ji Yu Chang'e and the others can clearly see the island. At this time, a huge, 10 feet suddenly appeared over the island, and turned into a 9 feet a second later. No, the Sky Temple will disappear in 10 seconds. Let's get in quickly. The expressions of the three people changed, and they immediately understood that this number was a countdown. A transparent ice flower appeared at Mei Qiluo's feet, instantly taking her to the island. Roar! Jin Kaixuan immediately summoned a golden lion, which actually grew white wings. Brother Ji Yu, come up quickly, the netherworld carriage can't fly up. He hurriedly said to Ji Yu Chang'e. At this time, there were only 7 seconds left. Don't worry about me, hurry up. Ji Yu Chang'e waved his hand and instead of summoning the netherworld carriage, he squatted on the ground. Hey, what are you doing? Don't joke at this time. Jin Kaixuan's expression changed greatly, but when he saw that the countdown had turned to 5 feet, he did not dare to say anything more, so he could only ride the golden lion and fly to the Sky Temple first. Oh, what is this kid doing? He's a hunter and he can't fly. What a nonsense. Whoosh! While he was complaining, he suddenly felt a figure swooping up from the side. What? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stuck at the last second, Jin Kaixuan finally landed on the Sky Temple. Hey, brother Ji Yu, what do you think you should say? You can't show off all the time. It's okay now. I missed such a big opportunity in the Sky Temple. Brother Jin, you are finally here, you are so slow. At this time, a familiar voice suddenly sounded in his ears. He turned his head and immediately saw Ji Yu Chengge with a smile on his face. When did he come up? He got there first, he was the fastest. At this time, Mei Qiluo suddenly spoke. Ji Yu Chengge's eyes widened instantly. No, are you polite? What do you mean I'm the fastest? When did you come up? Jin Kaixuan looked at Ji Yu Chengge in disbelief. Could this guy be flying? How could he be faster than Qiluo? At this moment, he suddenly remembered the whooshing sound next to him just now. In an instant, he realized that the figure turned out to be Ji Yu Chengge. Co-authoring it, he just jumped on it. No, this is at least nearly 1,000 meters away. Are all hunters today so strong? In his heart, he has decided that Ji Yu Chengge is a hunter. I came up before you came up. Ji Yu Chengge said a nonsense literary sentence, and then a systematic prompt came to his mind. Ding dong, the Lost Sky Temple in a special area has been detected, and a temporary gain effect has been obtained. Agility is wind, agility attribute plus 10%. He was not panicked. In this world, many maps had special effects. Some have beneficial effects, while others have negative effects. The most famous one is naturally the demonic abyss, where professionals will encounter various negative effects and demons will gain benefits. The Sky Temple increases the agility attribute by 10%. This gain is still very good, but unfortunately it is only temporary. If only it could be permanent. Brother Ji Yu, let's go, be careful and just stand behind us. Although he knew that Ji Yu Chengge was very powerful, Jin Kaixuan still subconsciously stood in front of him. After all, this guy is really young, and deep down in his heart he still feels that he is stronger. This is the pride of a genius, and it is indeed difficult to change it in a short time. Good. Ji Yu Chengge nodded but did not refute. It is said that the Sky Temple is the place where the Sky God once lived, and there must be many dangers inside. He is not a fool, so why rush to stand in front? Looking at the island from below, although it is huge, you can still barely get a glimpse of the whole thing. But when I came to the island, I saw an endless palace shrouded in smoke, exuding an extremely mysterious atmosphere. If you didn't know beforehand, no one would doubt it if you said this was a small city. Not long after walking, they came to a palace. The palace is majestic and resplendent. Every brick and every tile shines with divine brilliance, and there is no dust due to the precipitation of time. Misty Shrine. The great sky god, in order to protect his people, set up the mist temple with traps inside. Please know when you get lost and go back. Number of challenges, 3. The customs clearance information was displayed on the temple door. The three of them looked at each other and quickly understood the rules. To put it simply, this is a maze with traps inside, so you can be eliminated accidentally. Everyone has 3 chances. If they fail 3 times, they will be teleported out of Sky Island. I'll go first. Jin Kaixuan took the lead and was full of confidence. HMPH, I grew up playing mazes since I was a child. This thing is like playing house. Then 10 seconds passed and he suddenly appeared outside the palace. No, buddy, why don't you introduce your sister-in-law to me? Ji Yu Chengge was stunned and couldn't help but said with a smile. Jin Kaixuan, who was still confused, said, why? You are too fast. I want to help my sister-in-law. Don't worry, I said I am you and I will tell my sister-in-law not to look back. Jin Kaixuan rolled his eyes resentfully, feeling extremely embarrassed in his heart. This time he was really embarrassed. Then Mei Qiluo started the challenge. She took a little longer, but she only lasted 1 minute before being eliminated. Brother Ji Yu, you don't know that the fog there is at least 10 times stronger than Wuyin Mountain. There are also various traps, which are very, very dangerous. You must be careful. Seeing Ji Yu Chengge preparing to challenge, Jin Kaixuan hurriedly reminded him. After thinking for a moment, Ji Yu Chengge suddenly said, how about the 3 of us come together? Ah. No, brother Ji Yu, what did you say? Mei Qiluo didn't say anything, but Jin Kaixuan's reaction was huge. It is true that 3 people can challenge it together, but the difficulty is doubled. Brother, don't be too clever. 10 seconds, is there a difference between 1 time and multiple times? Ji Yu Chang'e didn't say much, but it hurt a lot. No, Jin Kaishuan suddenly broke through the defense. No, brother, listen to me. It's a special situation for me. You don't understand. I'm really unlucky. My strength is really not like that. Seeing Jin Kaishuan's gushing expression, Ji Yu Chang'e couldn't help but smile. He suddenly felt that he looked like a good brother who played games with him in his previous life and ended up giving him blows one after another. Well, he was like that at first. You can lose, but you must be tough on your words. Senior Kiluo, what do you think? He turned his head and looked at Mei Kiluo, who was expressionless. She nodded and said in a very calm tone, I have no objection. Okay then, the minority obeys the majority. Without waiting for Jin Kaishuan to retort, Ji Yu Chang'e directly grabbed him and entered the maze. Hey, no, brother, I can't do this. It's impossible for the three of us to pass the level. What if, I'm sure. If you really clear the level, I'll call you daddy. Okay, it's settled. White light flashed, and the three of them came into a fog. Unlike Kurigakure Mountain, it was completely dark here, so dark that you really couldn't see your fingers. However, in Ji Yu Chang'e's eyes, everything around him was clearly visible. It was just an ordinary maze, and even the route directions were written on the walls. Of course, no one else can see it at all, so this guide is completely useless. It seems that he guessed correctly. The guidance of the Mist Beast buff is also useful in this maze. Afterwards, Ji Yu Chang'e directly led the two of them through the maze quickly. Brother, there is a trap ahead, please slow down. Hey, why is everything okay? Why aren't there any traps? Listen to my brother, you must go to the left. The right is really a trap. 2 minutes later, outside the maze exit, Ji Yu Chang'e looked at Jin Kaishuan, a smirk suddenly appeared on the corner of his mouth. Call. Outside the maze, Jin Kaishuan looked helplessly into the distance, and just now he screamed. Ji Yu Chang'e screams if he wants. Yes, he didn't want to scream either. But who makes him a sincere and good person? At this time, there was a hazy translucent orb in Ji Yu Chang'e's hand. Ding dong, congratulations on successfully clearing the Mist Palace. It took 2 minutes and 24 seconds. The reward item is the Orb of Mystery, and the Agility attribute point plus 50. Mysterious Orb. Equipable level. 98. Quality. Epic. Description. Agility plus 217, Wisdom plus 98. Purify the trophies of the great sky god in the abyss. It can release mist, cover everything, and blind the enemy's senses. As the saying goes, the fewer words, the better it is. Although this thing only has the function of releasing fog, it is an epic quality piece of equipment, and the fog it releases is no small feat. Not only can it shield the senses of professionals, but it also has a huge range. Of course, the scope of release has a lot to do with the user's wisdom. Let's put it this way, with his current wisdom of 7,000 points, the fog he releases can cover a radius of 10,000 meters. And in this area, he is the real king. Enlightenment of all things. Ding dong, the hidden attribute of the mystic orb has been successfully activated. Hidden attribute 1. The fog can cause continuous damage to the enemy, 10 attack points per second. Hidden attribute 2. The 5 attribute points of enemies in the fog are reduced by 5%. Hidden attribute 3. The 5 attributes of the user in the fog are increased by 5% 1 hour. The 3 hidden attributes did not disappoint Ji Yu Chang'e, although the actual damage caused by the enemy is almost negligible. But in terms of reducing the enemy's strength and his own strength, it's really a heifer basking in the sun, awesome and powerful. After all, if there is not much difference in strength between the two, then this fog can make him invincible. If he was the king who controlled everything in the fog, then with the blessing of 3 hidden attributes, he is now the king of kings. I added 50 points of strength, what about you? At this time, Jin Kaishuan spoke. Although they also passed the level, they were under the leadership of Ji Yu Chang'e, so they were not rewarded with the Orb of Enchantment, only attribute points. But this is also a very generous reward for them. 50 magic. Having gained so many magic attributes in vain, Mei Qiluo's words were no longer so cold. 50 agility. Ji Yu Chang'e also spoke, but did not say anything about the bewitching orb. Sometimes there are many things that cannot be said. Talking too much will lead to loss, talking too much will lead to loss. As expected of the god of the sky, he's awesome. Jin Kaishuan was also very excited. Although they were geniuses, it was quite easy to get an additional 50 attribute points. With this reward alone, you will make a lot of money this time. Then the three of them continued walking forward and came to the second area of Sky Island, which was an empty square. Unlike other places around, there is almost nothing here, not even a statue of the sky god. However, the three of them did not relax at all, but became more cautious. The safer the place, the more dangerous it is. This is a truth that all 3-year-old children in this world understand. My blessed people, the great sky god is pleased to see you. At this moment, a 100-meter-long light suddenly appeared above the square. This is a huge god 100 meters high. He is invisible and has a hazy appearance. He has different appearances in the eyes of different people. Sky god remains of divine thoughts. Profession. Grade. Combat power. On Ji Yu Chenggi's panel, there was a series of question marks and nothing could be seen. This was the first time he encountered this situation. As expected of a god, even if there is only a trace of spiritual thoughts remaining, it is not something he can spy on now. The three of them did not kneel down to salute, nor did they show excessive excitement or enthusiasm. This is because the sky god belongs to the ancient gods, that is, the old gods. The explanation is very complicated, but to put it simply, it means that he is not in the same camp as the professionals in this world. The gods made by these professionals even had a battle with these old gods, but this was all hundreds of years ago. Even in the school subject of ancient divine history, it is not taught much. Of course, the three of them still showed due etiquette and respect for the gods. After all, this is also a god, and they cannot compete with it now. They must have due respect for the strong. The great sky god. The great sky god. The divine figure in the sky nodded with satisfaction, and then said to the three of them, "If you can find the great sky temple, the great sky god will bestow upon you supreme glory." A layer of golden light flashed, and the three of them received a system prompt. They all got 10 free attribute points. Ji Yu Chengge couldn't help complaining in his heart, "You are so stupid, you only gave 10 points, you are really stingy. In front of you is the abyss demon god suppressed by the great sky god using his supreme divine power. It is not something you can contact. Please step back. If you move forward, you will die without a burial place." After saying this, the divine shadow in the sky disappeared. The three of them looked at each other, all a little confused. "Brother Ji Yu, what does this sky god mean? Should we go?" Jin Kaishuan was a little confused. He was good at fighting, but he was really not good at things that used his brain. "I don't understand either." Before Ji Yu Chengge could look at him, Mei Qiluo spoke first. "Ha ha." Ji Yu Chengge couldn't help but smile, thought for a moment and said, "You just sent us away with only 10 points of free attributes. How is that possible? Besides, you're already here, let's take a look." To be honest, Ji Yu Chengge didn't understand the scene just now, but he had a feeling. That is, this sky god seems to be hiding some secrets and doesn't want them to know. As for what he said, suppressing the abyss demon god. But screw it, if the new god said these things, he might still believe them. But these ancient gods have long been confused with the abyss demon god, and they may even have their butts still suppressing. Do they have that strength? Today he wanted to see what little secret the sky god had. In the square, the three people did not leave, but continued to move forward again. As soon as he took a step, the extremely angry voice of the gods came from the sky. "Untouchables, how dare you disobey the will of God, accept the judgment of the sky." Boom! There was a sudden spin, and the scene in the square suddenly changed. A transparent protective shield enveloped the entire square, and then densely packed monsters came from all around. Thunder flashed in the sky, lightning, fire and various attacks were ready to go out, ready to drown them at any time. Temporary purgatory level copy. Wrath of the Sky God. Stupid subjects, you have offended the Sky God and still want to leave. If you offend the power of God, then welcome the wrath of God. Here's a friendly suggestion to you, just commit suicide as soon as possible, you won't survive. Customs clearance conditions. Persist for 1 hour. Reward for passing the level, alive. Seeing the bloody mission prompt, the expressions of the three people inevitably changed. Trouble, trouble, trouble. Jin Kaixuan frowned, looked at the wild monsters around him, and couldn't help but curse. Sky God, I'll throw your mother away. Brother Gu, it's dangerous now. Kiluo, you're from a distance, I'm from a close range, just do your best. After saying that, he let out a roar, and his body actually grew in size again, exuding violent power. Die. With one punch, the dozens of demon imps that had just rushed over were turned into ashes. However, this was only a drop in the bucket, as new wild monsters rushed up as soon as they died. These wild monsters are not very strong, most of them are at level 3 or 4, and occasionally there are a few at level 5 or over 200. But the real combat effectiveness is much worse than that of Jin Kaixuan and Mei Kiluo. I know you're in a hurry, but don't worry yet. Just when he was ready to fight, Ji Chengge spoke. What's wrong? Jin Kaixuan punched the level 167 Yasha kid next to him, then turned around and asked. Which of you has protective skills? Kiluo and I both have it, what's wrong? I have a plan. Now we must not fight alone, we must cooperate. You prepare your defenses and leave the rest to me. Ah, what does it mean? Jin Kaixuan is a little confused. He doesn't attack but only defends. Brother Gu, there are too many wild monsters. If we only defend, we will definitely die in the end. Who said we won't attack anymore? You just have to defend well and leave the offense to me. Ah, Jin Kaixuan's eyes widened, he was very puzzled and even wanted to refute. What a joke. 2 of us will defend at 5 turns, and you will attack with 2 at 3 turns. Isn't this waiting to die? But for some reason, after listening to Ji Chengge's words, he stopped attacking. Golden Lion Guard. Taking a deep breath, the energy and blood all over his body burned, and the shadow of a roaring lion enveloped the 3 of them, turning into a protective shield that enveloped the 3 of them. This is a 5th level warrior skill unique to their family. With his strength, no one can break it under the 6th level. But the disadvantage is that he can't move after using it. Moreover, although no one can break it under the 6th turn. But there are so many wild monsters and there are such terrifying attacks in the sky. He estimated that if he did nothing and allowed these wild monsters to attack, the defense would be broken in 5 minutes at most. After all, there are too many wild monsters. Frost Barrier. Mei Kiluo also waved his staff, and a protective shield of frost appeared outside the Golden Lion Guard. Seeing this scene, Ji Chengge couldn't help but look at the ice goddess. Although this senior sister is cold, she seems to be quite obedient. She is a good sister. Bah, 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 we have to fight hard next, how can we think nonsense? Throwing Suzu's knowledge out of his mind, Ji Chengge took out an ordinary hunter's longbow. Ah, Brother Gu, is this what you use? Looking at the hunter's longbow, Jin Kaixuan was inexplicably panicked. I agreed first, the 2 of us can only take 10 minutes at most. If you can't bear it, you're going to be in trouble. Don't worry, I'm here. Ji Chengge smiled slightly and patted Jin Kaixuan's shoulder with his right hand. But the next moment, his smile suddenly stopped. No, shouldn't such ambiguous words be said by a pretty girl? It seems like you should stay away from this guy in the future. Call. Taking a deep breath, he drew his bow and shot the arrow, and the corners of Ji Chengge's mouth quietly raised. Next, please enjoy the wonderful performance of the strongest hunter king. Whoosh. 5 light arrows flew out of the protective shield and penetrated the head of a level 190 demon imp without any obstruction. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. After penetrating, the light arrow continued to fly, killing small wild monsters easily. Regardless of whether it's the 3rd or 4th turn, it's all a one-hit kill. Call out. Accompanied by the whistle, 5 light arrows still entered the uninhabited land, hunting wildly. 10 seconds passed, and he had easily killed hundreds of wild monsters around him. Ah, at this time, Jin Kaixuan was dumbfounded. Although I have witnessed the scene of light arrows killing bandits before, I think light arrows are very powerful. But now it seems that Ji Chengge's shooting skills are far more terrifying than he imagined. In 10 seconds, hundreds of wild monsters were killed, but the numbers were completely meaningless in front of him. Roar. However, at this moment, a 7 to 8 meter tall 8-legged night demon emerged from the darkness, exuding an extremely powerful aura. Level 5. Level 256, Brother Gu, let me do it, you can't deal with this. Jin Kaixuan was about to take back his protection. The gap between the 5th and 4th ranks was too big, and it was obviously not something that a small light arrow could kill. Whoosh. However, as soon as he finished speaking, Ji Chang'e ejaculated again. This time it was not 5 arrows, but 1 arrow, but it was golden. Boom. The golden light arrow was faster, instantly hitting the night demon in the distance and exploding directly. After a loud noise, the night demon was reincarnated on the spot. It's a pity that none of these wild monsters were killed without explosive equipment. Ji Chang'e guessed that these were not real creatures. Jin Kaixuan was silent and looked at Ji Chang'e, then at Ji Chang'e and the hunter's longbow in his hand. Brother Ji, what kind of hidden profession do you have as a hunter? This is too outrageous. To be honest, he has seen a lot of hunters, even 7th level beast hunters. But he is not as perverted as Ji Chang'e. He guessed that this boy must have awakened from the hidden profession of hunter that has never appeared before, and maybe he is the inheritor of the gods. Brother Ji, you must have consumed a lot of arrows just now. You can still shoot a few more arrows. If there are rank 5 wild monsters next time, I'll do it. Recalling the terrifying power of the arrow just now, Jin Kaixuan spoke. Such a terrifying attack, and Ji Chang'e was only at level 3, so this kid was probably exhausted by this time, but he was just embarrassed to say it. Yes, the consumption is indeed a bit high. I can only shoot another 100 arrows at most, and I won't be able to bear it anymore. Just pretend I didn't say it, you are the coolest, the coolest. Whoosh, whoosh. 5 light arrows flew back and forth among the monsters, and more than a dozen wild monsters died every second. The wild monsters that were originally a steady stream turned out to be sparse at this time, appearing even less quickly than Ji Chang'e could kill them. Jin Kaixuan and Mei Qiluo only used to defend against attacks from the sky, and they did everything else, which was a bit boring. Ding dong, congratulations on clearing Wrath of the Sky God. You took 31 minutes and 18 seconds to get a special reward of free attribute points plus 300. In just half an hour, all the surrounding wild monsters were killed, and no new wild monsters appeared. Originally, I needed to persist for an hour, but because he killed so fast, I ended up clearing the level early. What's even more surprising is that this task originally had no reward, but now it rewards a full 300 free attribute points. It is still evenly distributed, and Ji Chang'e's combat effectiveness has increased by a few stars again. 137. The higher the level, even if the combat power is only increased by 1 star, it will be much more difficult than before. Is this the end? Jin Kaixuan touched his head, feeling as if he was dreaming. It can be said that as a top genius who has been crushing his peers since childhood, this is definitely the easiest battle he has ever fought. But for some reason, I suddenly felt a little depressed. So this is how it feels to be crushed by other geniuses. At this point, he had to admit that even though he was more than 100 levels higher than Ji Chang'e, in terms of strength, this kid was really no worse than him. With such a talent, even if he enters the academy, he will be at least in the 2nd rank. As for the first sequence, it is indeed too difficult. With this kid's current strength, I'm afraid he's not qualified yet. The 3 of them continued to move forward, perhaps because of the Sky God, and there was no obstruction along the way. A few of them even discovered many treasures in the 10 palaces. There are 7 or 8 pieces of epic equipment alone. However, Jin Kaixuan and Mei Qiluo didn't want any of them. Although the epic equipment was rare, it was of little use to them. Mei Qiluo picked out a notebook written by a rank 8 water mage. This thing was more precious than the legendary equipment, so she didn't want the rest. Jin Kaixuan finally found what he had been looking for so long. Essence and Blood of Thunder Flame Tianxi. Born to be divine, control the power of thunder and fire, born in the 3rd level, with infinite power, and can reach the 7th level in adulthood. The Thunder Flame Sky Lion is a very powerful wild monster, most of which are at level 8 or even 9. Even in the entire world, its strength can be ranked among the top 10 lion-like wild monsters. A drop of its blood is of inestimable value. Jin Kaixuan comes from the Jin family in western Sichuan, and most of them have the blood of the golden lion, which is an extremely powerful display of blood. And his power seemed to contain a hint of thunder power. Ji Yu Chang'e guessed that this drop of blood might be able to help his bloodline transform, at least in the future. Unfortunately, this thing is not particularly useful to him, and he is not very interested in it. Brother Ji Yu, I really have to thank you this time. Looking at the essence and blood of Lei Yintianxi, Jin Kaixuan was extremely excited. Don't worry, from now on your business is my business. As long as you say a word, the Sichuan West Jin family will do their best to help you, otherwise I will be like a fool. Ji Yu Chang'e nodded, and then took all the other treasures. They had already agreed that each of them would choose one piece, and the rest would belong to Ji Yu Chang'e. After all, to be honest, they really didn't do much. Hey, sure enough, I knew it wasn't that simple. Ji Yu Chang'e sighed. Although these treasures were very good, they did not lose the divine wings. Without this, he would have completed the job transfer task. It seems that this sky temple has a hidden mission. He raised his head and looked at the last temple in the distance. This is the last unexplored area of Sky Island, and it is also the weirdest place. Perhaps the secret of the lost divine wings is hidden here. Sky Prison. The prison where the sky god suppresses the enemy may contain unknown secrets, or there may be nothing at all. Note: this area is extremely dangerous, please explore with caution, dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. After seeing 3 consecutive danger reminders, Jin Kaixuan and Mei Qiluo's expressions became more cautious than ever. They have been to many dungeons and special areas, and there are countless dangerous places, but this is the first time they have encountered this situation. You guys just wait outside, I'll just go in by myself. No, Ji Yu Chang'e, what do you mean? Jin Kaixuan was unhappy for a moment. Don't you think of me as a brother? You have helped me so much, and now you let me just sit back and watch. You are insulting my character. Although this place is very strange and dangerous, as a genius, is he a coward? Besides, he really regards Ji Yu Chang'e as a brother now. Ji Yu Chang'e, let me tell you, you are my brother now. If anything happens to you, I must come. Also, isn't it a bit dangerous? I'm so scared. The worst case scenario is that you'll be killed, but I'll definitely follow you anyway. After saying that, he turned to look at Mei Qiluo. Qiluo, you wait here, brother Ji Yu and I will go and come back. Mei Qiluo raised her head, her tone as cold as ever. Without me, who would collect the body for you? After being speechless for a while, Jin Kaixuan almost broke through his defense again. What you said makes sense. Okay, there's no other way, then let's go together. Ji Yu Chang'e shook his head and smiled slightly. Although he was a little nervous, he was still confident. He now has 7,000 magic points, and the Hell Dragon can cast it instantly. If you are really in danger, just instantly summon 2 3-headed Hell Dragons, and then run away with the teleportation scroll. Unless it was rank 9, he really didn't believe that he couldn't climb out. Besides, the whole world is only about 9 revolutions, and the Sky God has long been beaten by the new god so that he does not dare to come to this world. He didn't believe that he was so unlucky that he really encountered a 9-turn situation. Perhaps my thinking is too complicated. Maybe it's just a 7th level. After thinking for a moment, Ji Yu Chang'e put his hand on the door of the prison. Boom! 100-meter thick black beam of light rose into the sky, instantly covering the entire prison. But this light comes and goes quickly. Just 3 seconds later, it disappeared instantly. The door slowly opened, and as soon as the 3 of them walked in, they appeared in a garden. The flowers are blooming and colorful. The path is winding, with lush greenery on both sides. The butterflies are dancing gracefully, and the air is filled with the faint fragrance of flowers, making you feel like you are in a fairyland. The 10,000-meter waterfall hangs upside down in the sky, splashing water and creating a beautiful rainbow. Next to the waterfall, an overly coquettish woman wearing only 2 or 3 rags sat at a small table and looked at the 3 of them with a smile. Hello, little ones. Looking at the overly plump body, Ji Yu Chang'e's eyes were dazzled. Are you the great sky god? The woman shook her head and appeared next to Ji Yu Chang'e the next moment. The charming fragrance was intoxicating. No, I am not. I am the lover of the sky god. That is, the mistress. Mistress. Ji Yu Chang'e had 10,000 question marks in his mind and almost thought he had heard wrong. He thought about many possibilities, but he never expected that he would encounter an almost naked woman after opening the door. Then he came up and said, "Hello, I am Sky God's mistress. This is too explosive. This, are all the gods so playful?" Well, he admitted that he was indeed young. Too little knowledge. Ahem, hello. Ding dong, the special mission, the secret of the sky, was successfully activated. Kill the sky god's lover, the sea snake Mozana, and get the sky god's unknown secret. Mission reward. Lost divine wings. At this time, a task prompt suddenly came from the system, and Ji Yu Chengge smiled. Finally here. Lost divine wings, I have to make you suffer. Then he saw the woman in front of him again. Although she had an amazing figure, she had completely changed in his eyes. Woman, what is that? He only wants divine wings. Sea Serpent 16 Mozana, extremely weak state. Level 500. Combat power, 1245 stars. Looking at the data of the sky god lover in front of him, Ji Yu Chengge breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, it was only level 7. Although it was level 500, which was higher than Su Meng's, its combat effectiveness was much worse than hers. Of course, although he is worse than Su Meng, his combat effectiveness is much better than him. About 300 stars versus 1245 stars, it seems like there is only a 4 times difference. In fact, the difference is at least dozens or hundreds of times. In the later stage, the gap in combat effectiveness of each star will be huge. Fortunately, Ji Yu Chengge's true combat effectiveness cannot be measured by data. At the 7th turn, one shot of the Hell Demon Dragon shouldn't be enough, so 2 shots. Thinking about the battle for a while, Ji Yu Chengge quietly winked at Jin Kaixuan and told him to stay away from here when the battle started. Fortunately, I got that before. Ha 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 ha, little guy, are you surprised? In front of Ji Yu Chengge, the sea snake Mozana twisted her body, exuding irresistible charm with every frown and smile. Jin Kaixuan's eyes suddenly turned red and he stared at Mozana uncontrollably. Dig. Then the next moment, he turned into an ice cube and regained his composure instantly. Obviously, this was Mei Qiluo's move. Ahem, I'm really surprised. I wonder if sister can tell me the story about you and the sky god. Ji Yu Chengge's eyes also became blurred, and he smiled and said. To be honest, he wasn't the least bit interested in the story about this guy and the bullshit sky god. But the mission also mentioned spying on the unknown secrets of the sky god. He didn't know if this would affect the results of the mission, so he asked. My story with that guy. Mozana put the finger on her red lips gently on Ji Yu Chengge's shoulder, her eyes glowing with a demonic purple light. Actually, it's very simple. He fell in love with me in the Forbidden Sea, and then I became the old guy's lover. And after that, Ji Yu Chengge pretended to be curious and stared at the huge fruit in front of him. Then I cuckolded him, and then he locked me up. Ahem. For a moment, Ji Yu Chengge was a little impressed. You dare to put a hat on the sky god. You are really brave. Sister has a good temperament. Hee hee, of course, my sister is so charming, how can she only accompany that bad old man? After saying that, she gently took off the left shoulder strap, and Ji Yu Chengge had to admire the northern hemisphere. 2 words. Big and moist. But that old man is really stingy. Why did he find dozens of men behind his back? Why are you so angry? You have tortured me for nearly 100 years. If you hadn't come here, little guy, sister, I would really have died. Ji Yu Chengge silently took 2 steps back. Dozens of men. No, because of obstruction. You're running a brothel. At this time, he also roughly guessed the secret of the sky god. He probably wasn't good at that aspect, otherwise this fool would find dozens of men. However, it is difficult to say that snakes are inherently lustful. But in short, Sky God was cuckolded at least dozens of times. I guess I didn't kill this idiot because I was too angry and wanted to make her suffer from Yuya's torture. No wonder that guy let them go before. It turned out that he didn't want to expose this secret. Little guy, you are so strong. At this time, Mozana approached Ji Yu Chengge again, and the southern hemisphere was almost exposed. Let's play an exciting game. Are you interested in conquering the woman of the sky god? Ahem, no need to. Ji Yu Chengge waved his hands repeatedly, admitting that he did have the potential to be a thief. But he has no interest in snakes that he has had in-depth interactions with at least dozens of men or other species. Thief Sal likes young women, not sluts. Little guy, come and play, give it a try, it's very interesting. Mozana did not give up because of Ji Yuchenggi's rejection, but became more interested. Women are actually the same as men. The harder it is to conquer, the more they like it. The smell and taste of Ji Yuchenggi are so tempting. He all knows how comfortable it is to play with such a man. No, it should be. Go away. After getting the secret he wanted, Ji Yuchenggi no longer concealed it, and directly shook off Mozana with his right hand. If you want it, I'll get you a snake, hurry up and get away. You, what did you say? Mozana's face changed drastically, and she stared at Ji Yuchenggi with great resentment. You are looking for death. She gritted her teeth and stretched out her white thighs. Her feet were so white and tender that they looked like they were about to squeeze out water. Give you one last chance, kneel down and lick my feet. Otherwise, die. Faced with such an opportunity, there may be many men vying to lick it, but Ji Yuchenggi's answer is firm. Fist 860 heads. I'll kick you mad. He punched out and hit Mozana directly in the face without thinking about holding back. With a full blow of more than 7,000 people, Mozana's face instantly sunk. Ah! Screams rang through the entire island, and everything around them shattered instantly. Jin Kaishuan and Mei Qiluo had painful expressions on their faces and spat out a mouthful of blood. Brother Ji Yu, run quickly. This guy is too strong. It would take a rank 7 giant to deal with him. Let's leave quickly. After saying that, he threw a 5th level magic scroll directly towards Mozana, which was also his strongest attack. However, before the scroll could get closer and the magic could be released, it instantly shattered. Mozana's face was covered with dense wrinkles, her eyes turned into one, and the skin all over her body became like old tree bark. Especially the 2 hemispheres, which fell directly to the stomach. All men are fools, I want you to die. I want you to conquer me like this. Staring at Ji Yuchenggi, she frantically took off her clothes and hit Ji Yuchenggi's head with her huge tail. Everything around her was shattered by the terrifying force. Brother Ji Yu, be careful and run. Jin Kaishuan shouted loudly, and Mei Qiluo also released hundreds of ice picks to attack Mozana directly, but the ice picks were shattered before they even got close. Well done. Ji Yuchenggi was not busy, he stretched out his right hand and pulled it into the air. Come out, God's battlefield. Come out, God's battlefield. Ji Yuchenggi pulled his right hand, and a huge battlefield suddenly appeared in the silent sky. Whoosh! The battlefield suddenly erupted with extremely rich golden light, immediately covering the 2 of them. The next moment, a man and a snake appeared on the battlefield in the sky. What's going on? Jin Kaishuan looked confused, and then extremely anxious. Brother Ji Yu, why are you in the battlefield with that sea snake? It's dangerous now. He also wanted to contact the powerful members of the clan, but in the Sky Temple, all contact with the outside world was cut off, and now they could only rely on themselves. This is the battlefield of gods in the Sky Temple. You can force a one-on-one showdown. Student Ji Yu is saving us. Mei Qiluo stared at the battlefield in the sky, with veins popping out in his right hand holding the staff. Apparently, he was not as calm as he appeared. She didn't understand why this person would risk his life to save them even though it was just their first acquaintance. Of course she didn't know that Ji Yuchenggi just wanted to kill Mozana faster. After all, if this guy ran away, he might not be able to catch up. The rule of God's battlefield is that unless one party dies, the battlefield will never open. This is the battlefield that comes with the Sky Temple, and he accidentally discovered it in a palace. In fact, many gods' palaces have this kind of thing. Their functions are similar to the Colosseum in ancient Rome, and they are all for entertainment. But even if Mei Qiluo knew what he was thinking, she probably wouldn't believe it. After all, he has to face a level 500 sea snake that is enough to kill a 7th level boss. No matter how powerful he is, it is impossible to defeat him. Being invincible at the same level is a genius, but if you kill someone in the 3rd turn and the 7th turn, you are a freak who is above the rules. It is something that ordinary people would not even dare to think about. Hey, what should I do now? Jin Kaishuan was dejected, and Tianjian sat directly on the ground. He, who had suppressed countless geniuses in the past, now had no choice but to lose confidence. Facing level 500, Sky God's former lover, the only thing he could do was to feel less desperate. Hey, it would be great if Brother Gu could create a miracle like he did when he killed the Bandit King before. Although he said this, he also knew that this was impossible. Otherwise, why is it called a miracle? Because it is really rare and difficult to happen. Ha 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 ha, little man, I don't know who gave you the courage to enter the battlefield of God with me. In the battlefield, Mozana became more and more crazy. After being tortured for hundreds of years, she had already gone crazy. I wanted to have a hearty and in-depth exchange with Ji Chang'e, take the opportunity to absorb Yangqi and restore some strength. But this little man dared to reject her. Reject her. Hell, no man can refuse her. She swore that she would make this little man surrender in this way. Are these your last words? Ji Chang'e once again returned to the standard fighting state, with an epic level-long knife in his left hand, named Duanlang, which was found in the Sky Temple. The legendary purgatory staff in the right hand and the tentacles of Tangzan are ready for a long time. Tens of thousands of fireballs can fall at any time, and the Hell Dragon has long been hungry and thirsty. Then say goodbye to this world. The fog activates. As soon as Ji Chang'e finished speaking, an extremely thick fog instantly enveloped half of the battlefield. In an instant, he felt that his attributes had improved a lot, and correspondingly, Mozana's attributes had decreased. What is this? Mozana, who was confident of winning, also found that her attributes had been inexplicably reduced, and the thick smoke blocked her sight. Humph, pediatrician. But she didn't care. Her pupils suddenly turned red, and the next moment she saw Ji Chang'e through the fog. Of course, despite this, the fog still had a considerable impact on her. But so what, even if she is extremely weak now, even if her strength drops 100 times again, she can easily crush this little ant Ji Chang'e to death. The flood is coming. As a sea snake, he naturally controls aquatic skills, and his body emits magic waves, and endless waves surge out from behind him. At this moment, she was walking on the waves, as if she had turned into an ocean, covering the sky and the sun, and the entire battlefield turned into water. In the eyes of Jin Kaixuan below, they only saw the battlefield wrapped in fog, and then boundless floods fell from the sky. What a skill! Jin Kaixuan was thinking about how he would face such a flood attack. After thinking for a long time, he got an answer, that is, wait for death. Whoosh! But at this moment, a large sword nearly a kilometer long suddenly flashed out of the fog. Boom! The long knife fell and the flood split into two. At the same time, Mozana in front of the flood was also split in half, but she did not die. A level 500 creature would be hard-pressed to die even if its head is moved. Tangzan tentacles. Before anyone could react, dense vines emerged from the mist and completely entangled Awana in an instant. Boom! The next moment, hundreds of meters long fireballs fell from the sky, turning the battlefield into a sea of fire. It wasn't over yet, and then an even more terrifying force appeared. Roar! 3 hell dragons that were 10,000 meters in size emerged from the space door and swallowed the battlefield of God directly into their stomachs. Even Mokong Island had countless dense cracks. However, the hell demon dragon came and left quickly, and it only appeared for a total of 10 seconds. The sky is about to recover again, and the original battlefield of God has disappeared, leaving only a slowly recovering space door to prove what just happened. Jin Kaixuan and Mei Qiluo stared straight into the sky like sculptures, motionless. Single quote. Hey, what are you doing? A voice suddenly came to mind, instantly breaking the eerie silence. The two of them turned their heads at the same time and saw Ji Chang'e, who was safe and sound. They instantly felt like they had seen a ghost. No, it's not. You're not dead. Nonsense, buddy, you really want me to die? Ji Chang'e rolled his eyes and felt extremely relaxed. Dealing with level 500 Mozana, if you want to say that he is not nervous at all, that would be nonsense. So from the beginning, he threw out all his attacks instantly. Fortunately, he had the talent of true god chanting, so all his skills could be released instantly. When the Hell Dragon appeared, he was ready to summon another one. Unexpectedly, before I could release my skills, the garden collapsed. This is too fast to die, good luck. Level 500 didn't seem to be as strong as he thought. Just hundreds of fireball spells directly caused serious injuries. The Hell Demon Dragon didn't even use 1/10 of its power, and she turned into ashes. No. Jin Kaixuan's mind went blank at this time and he didn't know what to say. What happened just now? The fireball. That dragon. B. Stop talking about that and that. You talk so smoothly. You want to make your debut. Ji Yu Chang'e interrupted Jin Kaixuan with a smile and said the speech he had prepared long ago. Actually, it's very simple. There is a backup force from the Sky God in the battlefield of gods, and those attacks were all left behind by him. I just took advantage of them. Otherwise, I wouldn't dare to challenge Mozanna in a one-on-one fight. Is it possible that I am only level 100, but have 1,000-star combat power of over 500? Are you kidding? This is nonsense. Am I right? So, all this is because of the Sky God. Jin Kaixuan looked at Ji Yu Chang'e, his tone a little unsure, but in fact he believed this statement in his heart. After all, you have to make him believe that the terrifying Hell Dragon just now was actually summoned by Ji Yu Chang'e. This guy who is only level 100 actually has super combat power that exceeds 1,000 stars, which is really difficult for others to do. Who can believe this? If this is really the case, then wouldn't his so-called genius become a waste? Besides, the sea snake has brought so many cuckolds to the Sky God, so it makes sense for him to have some backup plans. Yes, some gods can indeed leave some skills in the battlefield of gods. At this time, Mei Qiluo also nodded and said. Now he completely believed what Ji Yu Chang'e said and felt relaxed. This just shows that Ji Yu Chang'e is very smart, so what? There are many people smarter than him, and it doesn't matter if there is one more Ji Yu Chang'e. Hehe, I'm so happy. Mei Qiluo on the side also nodded to Ji Yu Chang'e, but in fact he knew very well that the Sky God definitely did not leave any backup in the battlefield of gods. This means that the skills just now were all released by Ji Yu Chang'e. An unknown professional who has just awakened to level 100 has a combat power that surpasses rising stars. Now she won't be so stupid as to think that Ji Yu Chang'e is a hunter. She couldn't help but take a deep breath, but she didn't expose Ji Yu Chang'e's thoughts. She wouldn't do it if she didn't like it. After all, no matter what, it was Ji Yu Chang'e who saved her just now. Ding dong, you successfully killed the sea snake Mozanna, level 500, completed the mission secret of the Sky God, and obtained the mythical special equipment, Lost God Wings. Ding dong, you successfully killed the sea snake Mozanna, level 500, and received special rewards, skills, Ice and Snow World, mythical equipment blueprint fragment 1. A series of reminders kept ringing in his mind. Ji Yu Chang'e was naturally happy, but soon he suddenly became serious and looked up at the sky. This cuckold god actually wants to kill people and silence them. Reminder, since you have discovered the secret of the Sky God, you are facing the Sky God's revenge. I saw that the surrounding temples began to collapse, and the entire Sky Island was rapidly being destroyed. What's going on? Jin Kaixuan also noticed something was wrong, and the three of them hurriedly flew towards the edge of the island. Bang! However, when they arrived, they discovered that the sun layer transparent wall had enveloped the entire Sky Island. They can't get out. It seems that the Sky God, an old man with weak kidneys, is planning to destroy us and the Sky Temple together. Ji Yu Chang'e's face was also very ugly. Even if he had the power of 1,000 stars, it would be difficult for him to survive if the entire Sky Island exploded. What the hell, what should I do? Jin Kaixuan and both of them looked at Ji Yu Chang'e at the same time, and unknowingly he had become the backbone of the two of them. It's too late, Lao Jin, hurry up and locate the place you are most familiar with immediately. Ji Yu Chang'e immediately took out the 7th level teleportation scroll Su Meng gave him before. This thing is valuable. Without any hesitation, he used it directly, and a portal appeared in front of the three people. Okay. Although Jin Kaixuan is not very smart, he is a member of a big family and is well informed, so he quickly understood everything. He immediately put his hand on the portal, a map appeared in his mind, and he chose the place he was most familiar with without hesitation. You god of the sky, I will remember you. After saying harsh words, Ji Yu Chang'e led the two of them into the portal. He is not afraid that Sky God will tell him directly offline, because this is Duan Shen's territory. If this guy really dares to come, a new god will come immediately and even give Ji Yu Chengge a certificate. Whoosh! The portal was spinning, and the three people disappeared in an instant. Boom! The next moment, a huge explosion occurred on the entire Sky Island, the space collapsed, and everything around it was turned into powder. Not long after, several super strong men arrived. What's going on? How come I smell the breath of the Sky God guy? It's a pity that it was just a temple he once had and no coordinates were left. Hey, if only I had the coordinates, I could go directly to his lair and dig his crotch. The few people communicated for a while, but after finding nothing of value, she left one after another. Western Sichuan Province, Golden Lion Family, Jin Family. Hey, I don't know if that kid from Kaishuan has been found yet. BGCC. In an antique-style room, Jin Bingdao, a bearded man, held a young woman who still had charm in his arms, holding her hand up and down. The young woman's face was flushed, and she leaned on Jin Bingdao's chest. There shouldn't be one, the Sky Temple is not that easy to find. That's right, it seems we have to think of other ways. This boy is the only genius in our Jin family who has awakened dual bloodlines in 100 years. I will get him the blood essence of the Thunderflame Heavenly Lion no matter what. That's all we can do, but the college is about to start. Calculating the time, it's time for him to come back. Yeah, probably just these 2 days. No matter, he's thick-skinned, and there's that girl Kiluo following him. He can't die. Let's do some foreplay first. Oops, disgusting. What is foreplay? Foreplay is just hey. Jin Dadang had a lewd smile on his face, but suddenly his face changed drastically and his whole person disappeared in an instant. Who? A loud shout resounded in the hall, and Jin Dadao's whole body was burning with golden flames, exuding the terrifying aura of a rank 8 giant. Dad, me. Jin Kaishuan looked calm and did not even blink in the face of such a terrifying attack. Why is it you? Seeing Jin Kaishuan and the three of them in the room, Jin Bingdao's eyes widened and he instantly felt extremely embarrassed. When did this fool come here? They probably didn't hear what he said just now. Hey, Dad, I didn't expect you to be like this in private. Okay, this idiot heard it. Humph, you idiot, how did you get here? He stares hard at Jin Kaishuan, and if he says anything wrong, he will strike mercilessly. Afterwards, Jin Kaishuan told everything, and Jin Dadao originally had an angry look on his face. But as he listened, he looked at Ji Yu Chengge with shock. After listening, he directly grabbed Ji Yu Chengge's hands. Ha, you young prodigy, I didn't expect there to be someone as awesome as you in Donghai. Ji Yu Chengge frowned slightly and finally understood why Jin Kaishuan was a little stupid. Feelings are hereditary. Brother Ji Yu, don't worry, I'll replenish your fixed-point teleportation scroll. With a wave of his hand, Jin boldly took out a teleportation scroll. This thing is life-saving hard currency, and everyone will prepare 1 or 2. But I'm really sorry, our Jin family can only teleport randomly. Haha, that's enough. Ji Yu Chengge quickly put away the scroll. In fact, his teleportation scroll was also random. It just activated the hidden attribute and turned it into a fixed-point teleportation. Teleport directly from Miyuan Province to Western Sichuan Province, 1,000,000 miles away, and its value is definitely no less than an 8th-level item. Originally, he was always feeling distressed, but he didn't expect that the head of the Jin family would directly make up for it. Good, it's grand, or else he is the head of the family. Okay, you go down and rest first. If you need anything, let Kaishuan arrange it for you. Thank you very much, Master Jin. Ji Yu Chengge smiled and nodded, and the three of them walked out of the hall together. No, you scold. Who let you walk out of the door with your left foot? Ice World. Skill level. Level 7. Freeze everything, create a world of ice and snow of its own, casting time, 10 seconds, CD, 30 minutes. Looking at the skill description in front of him, Ji Yu Chengge didn't react much, even though this was the skill with the highest level he had received so far. To put it simply, this is a skill that freezes everything. It may sound unremarkable, but Ji Yu Chengge knows how terrifying this skill is. Generally low-level skills, such as fireball, ice cone, etc., are mostly direct attacks. The power of high-level skills is that they can directly change the world environment and use the power of nature to destroy everything. After all, no matter how strong a person is, it is difficult to compete with the world. This is also where the skills of the ice and snow world are afraid. It's still the old rule, activate the hidden attributes first. Ding dong, the hidden attributes of the ice and snow world are successfully activated. Hidden attribute 1. Reduce magic power consumption by 90%. Hidden attribute 2. Skill duration increased by 300%. Hidden attribute 3. Skill defense *10. The 3 hidden attributes are still abnormal. The magic power required for the 7th level skill is very terrifying. It costs $500,000 to release it once. A 90% reduction, that is, only 5,000 magic powers are needed. Although it is still a lot, at least he can use it. As for 3 times the duration and 10 times the defense, it also makes this skill even more terrifying. Coupled with the 100-fold increase, Jiyu Chengge didn't know how powerful the ice and snow world was now. Perhaps we can freeze a city directly. Unfortunately, he cannot conduct such experiments casually. Lost divine wings, this should be the first god I got. Taking a deep breath, a pair of transparent wings appeared in his hands. At first glance, there was nothing special about them. Unbounded divine wings. Quality, myth, usable level, 100. The divine wings made of unbounded divine power are said to have the power of the legendary world and can conquer all things, but this is just a legend. Gudong. Seeing this introduction, Jiyu Chengge couldn't help but swallow his saliva. The original name of the lost divine wings is unbounded divine wings. Obviously, these are not the wings of the sky god. It seems to be more powerful, but unfortunately it is only level 100, so the upper limit will be affected to some extent. But that doesn't cover up how powerful it is. To put it simply, this wing has 2 functions in total. First, that is the basic function, flying. And if he has enough strength, he can even fly across the world. Obviously, Jiyu Chengge does not have this ability now. You can't cross the world, but space legends are still possible. This alone makes it worthy of being an artifact. The second point is even more perverted. It can emit unbounded divine power and wipe away equipment, which means directly forcibly confiscating other people's weapons and equipment. This is too perverted. Of course, using this function requires very powerful intelligence attributes. With his current strength, he can wipe out equipment below level 200 and below mythical level. But even so, it is already quite awesome. After all, how many people can own mythical equipment? For example, 2 people were fighting fiercely, and Jiyu Chengge confiscated the opponent's weapon with his unbounded divine power. This is a bit of a stretch. Ah, gods and Buddhas, please give me some face. Although he has activated the hidden attributes countless times, this time he was really nervous. This is an artifact. If a piece of garbage comes with hidden properties, it will really ruin the pot of soup and it will be ruined. Enlightenment of all things. Ding dong, the hidden attribute of the unbounded divine wings has been successfully activated. Call. Taking another deep breath, Jiyu Chengge looked at the wings in his hand with great concern. Unbounded divine wings. Quality, myth, usable level, 100 can be upgraded. Hidden attribute 1. Unlock the level attribute, and you can increase the equipment level by swallowing other equipment. Hidden attribute 2. Unlock the special effect attribute. Every time you fly, you can generate random flight special effects. It all depends on luck. Hidden attribute 3. Invincible buff. After activation, it will be in an invincible state. Any attack will be invalid. Duration is 3 seconds, CD, 7 days. Holy shit, shit, shit. After seeing so many hidden attributes, Jiyu Chengge stood up directly this time. No way, buddy, is he so cool this time? He stood up immediately. Any one of these 3 hidden attributes is a magical skill. First of all, the first one is to improve the equipment level. ... Asterisk asterisk. One important reason why professionals need to change equipment frequently is that the equipment level cannot be improved. As the professional level increases, the equipment gradually becomes insufficient and can only be replaced. But now this mythical item can actually be upgraded. If others knew about this, the gods would go crazy. After all, Mythical equipment is originally a weapon used by the gods, but it needs to undergo countless transformations to become a real artifact. Now this unbounded divine wing can be upgraded, and the only flaw has been solved. But don't think about it, if you devour other equipment upgrades, you will definitely be a big spender in the future. As for the second skill, flying special effects, he was not particularly looking forward to it. This thing should only be equipped, and it doesn't have much effect on deeds. Let's wait and see about it later. Point 0. Ji Yu Chang'e looked directly at the third attribute, which was even more outrageous. Directly invincible. Even if the real god comes, he can't be killed, he is invincible. It's a pity that it only lasts 3 seconds, which is too short, and the CD lasts for 7 days. This means that he can be a real man for 3 seconds every 7 days, which is a bit strange. Looking at Wu Ji Divine Wings, Ji Yu Chang'e likes it more and more. If nothing else, he could finally fly after that. Unfortunately, it can only be equipped after changing jobs. Temporarily suppressing his excitement and trembling hands, Ji Yu Chang'e looked at the last reward this time. Fragments of mythical equipment blueprints. This is also a pretty explosive reward. Counting what he got previously, he has enough for 2 pieces. In other words, he only needs to get 4 more fragments to get a mythical equipment blueprint. It's just, but don't give me a 10th piece when the time comes. The horror of Pin Shishi left Ji Yu Chang'e, who had already traveled through time, still feeling a little frightened. Okay, the most important thing now is to change jobs first and then go to the academy. Ji Yu Chang'e walked out of the room and looked at the palace in the distance, with a trace of envy in his eyes. Yes, there is a job transfer temple in the Sichuan West Jin family. This is the real power. There is no need to go elsewhere to change jobs, there is a job transfer temple at home. This also saved him a lot of time. I don't know what awesome talents and skills I can awaken after changing jobs this time. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.